Hello everyone, just wanted to let you know that we'll be getting started in a few minutes. Warm-up period is continuing for a few minutes more yet. Greg Gouillart speaking here for Candlepin Bowling Network. Here you see on screen the lineups for the match that will get started in just a few minutes time. Team Hingham out of South Shore Country Club and Team Metro Bowl, that's seed 6 versus 3. I'll take a moment to go over the format today. This is the playoffs of the Friday Night Pro League, ergo why it's on Saturday. We're here at Ryan Family Amusements in Millis, Massachusetts, a rotating home venue. It's Millis' turn to host this end-of-year tournament. So congratulations to Central Park Lanes 3 out of East Boston, Massachusetts for winning the regular season. And now the playoffs to determine who will win the remainder of the prize money in this 8-team single elimination knockout bracket. Great to see you all here in chat. Great to see you, David Gowan. It's always a pleasure. Rebecca, I've seen you a few times. Calvin Locke. Dave, Kevin, Captain Happy. Thanks for reminding viewers to hit that like button, and thank you, Dave's channel, for the kind words as well. We can see you there, and looking forward to sharing this great day of bowling with you all. Long day of bowling, of course, so it's going to be 3 string matches. Total pinfall decides who advances. 1 string roll-off in case of a tie. And then semifinals between those, reseeded, high versus low. And then the finals will be whoever's left. And then that will decide our playoff champion. Team Exeter did not defend their regular season title, but still has the chance to become back-to-back champions. Just keeping it live here, looks as though the warm-ups have subsided. And as soon as we know more, we'll click on with the match. Handshakes now. Looks as though we have ourselves a match. Again, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. This is the Friday Night Pro League playoffs. Team Hingham out of South Shore Country Club takes on Team Metro Bowl out of Peabody, Massachusetts. 6 seed versus 3 seed in the single elimination bracket. 3 strings, total pinfall to decide who moves on. We are here at Ryan Family Amusements in Millis, Massachusetts. My name is Greg Gouillart. For another playoff stream, Paul Grant has Shooters Pub and Academy 2 over on lanes 19 and 20 on YouTube only, Candlepin Bowling Network. He'll also be on 19 and 20 for the semifinals, and then merge with me for coverage of the finals here at Ryan's. John Zappi, Sam Dagostino, Chris Jones, John Winchell, Craig Holbrook, as you see on your screen for Team Hingham. For Team Metro Bowl, Al Kessick, Iceman, Nick Freshy Zuffalato, Aaron St. Cyr, Keith Beaupre, and Aaron Fontaine. Iceman and Mr. President get it started. John Zappi, the retiring president of the Friday Night Pro League, had the great pleasure to honor him these past few weeks as he takes his warm-up slide and then gets us set in this 3-string match. If you're new to Candlepin Bowling, hi, you're joining us at a great time. It's roll 3 balls, play the wood where it falls. It's live where it falls, not dead. Strikes are rare, it's a game of spares. Even the head pin ain't guaranteed. But Zappi's got his to get us started, but a tough split here, the setback as we call this one. Al Kessick moving some pins along here. Faster conditions, as it's said here at Ryan's Millis. The pins do tend to move, though you see it may not have been the greatest help. Oh, that's a nice shot for a spare by Zappi. Tough to get that piece of wood leverage. Iceman's off target, and Team Hingham off to a great start. Great chance to get the replay machine there. 3rd time around for Kessick for the 10 box. If only it was ball 2 as we take another look at this great shot. Snapped off the wood. It was more frozen there, so I believe you'll see the wood caroms off the sidewall. And there you go. Spares calculate exactly how you'd expect in any 10-pin game. 10 plus the value of this next ball. Essentially the 3rd ball in the frame. Zappi wants a good follow-up. Missed his head pin this time, but gets a splash at 7. Al Kessick, same 7, but it's triangle number 6. And a good leave here. On Zappi's side, you have to be careful of the deflecting wood. Hopefully that's enough lane audio for you guys. Yes, spare. Back-to-back for Zappi as he'll sit down. And an excellent start for him. Kessick must be mindful of this wood. It's liable to deflect, and he goes with the sideways wood, which may have been too deep. just wasn't convinced he could turn this top piece of wood in. He gets a 9 box and 19 through 2. Nick Zuffalato, Sam Dagostino now. Both two boisterous, outgoing personalities in the game. Seeding in these playoffs was determined by regular season standings in the 35 weeks who played for points, as you can see in our prior matches here on Candlepin Bowling Network. But today, no points matter. It's just 3 strings, total pinfall. Pin still mixing for Dagostino, and hey, looks like a 9 drop all the same. Freshie gets a 9-pin drop of his own on the 7-pin. An inspection of this wood up top, as you see Dagostino taking a look here. Just mulling it over with his teammates. It's possible the red line might take this, but it's way high up. We'll see if this actually works out. At the junction, it does. Well played. Takes advantage of the break. Freshie's got to shoot right at this one, and he's got it for the spare. So Team Metro Bowl with their first mark. You see those yellow triangles and the numbers adding up there. That's it's Canadian notation for the marks, although of course how they actually keep score is the same, but displayed differently. But those little triangles indicate the spares working, or spares open for each side. So Dagostino joins Zappi in that position, and now he'll load up, as will Freshie to his left. For the 6th-seeded South Shore Country Club team, Dagostino, 1-4, is hit. Hello, this might still be working on the fill. And headpin's hit too, and it falls as well. And we see the fast conditions now producing a favorable result here. Freshie off target, but only 6. Still a decent leave here.
Score correct.
I gotcha. That was Craig Holbrook, you might have heard there. Had a funny moment with him in a prior double strike call I had at one point. I'll get to that in a second. Dagostino unable to take advantage of the break here. The wood was less favorable this time. Freshie's try on the headpin, good shot spare. A little bit of a sidewall kick as well to get that. Dagostino completes the 10 box. No pins left standing for Hingham, and only the 1 left standing for Metro at this very early stage. Aaron St. Cyr and Chris Jones. Pins up in this early going in this first string of 3. Jones headpin splits up. Jones at one point was occupying the top 10 spots in the average leaderboard. Fell off it slightly, but still ends up with a 115 average on the year. Aaron St. Cyr the same 115 average. 7 pins to blow up here. Just shaves off the outer layer of the onion there. 5, 8, and 10. So a pinning duel here resulting on the 3rd ball. Jones gets 1. So Aaron can gain a pin here. And he does. He gets a 9. A lot of the standings were solidified going into position week just yesterday there. Not a lot of jostling. In the end, Central 3 had number 1 clinched going into it. They are the champions of the regular season of the Friday Night Pro League. And now this end-of-year jubilee, but also significant playoff match taking place here. Jones is 7 and 8. Wood looks a little high. Not sure if a red line bounce takes the 7. Instead, the ball deflects into the 7 and turns away from the 8. St. Cyr back on it for the spare. Takes advantage of his break. Chance for a quality 10 for Jones. Left side of the wood twirls in. So Metro Bowl getting that mark now, and now a virtual tie in the match as they've gotten the last 2 marks unopposed. As it moves on down to the fireballer, Keith Beaupre, against the slow but very steady John Winchell. Both of the cross lane delivery, but with very unique styles, as you'll see momentarily. Winchell, as seen on TV, Channel 50 Stars and Strikes. Tipping pins, maybe that one nestling in there helps out, and Beaupre, yikes, look at this one. Can't even call that a split, even though I desperately want to. The W lead. You view the pins overhead. Winchell's got a pin in there, possible powder keg, but he's missed the head pin twice. 8th try. Mixing pins here, that's a gettable for the out at least. And Winchell takes a 9. A 10 box for Beaupre. All the focus for Hingham right now is getting their own John Zappi into the Hall of Fame, like Craig Holbrook is, like Bob Whitcomb, not in today's lineup due to continued injury difficulties. But John Winchell is, to use Paul Grant's euphemism, Hall of Fame eligible, but even there, Winchell doesn't think his career is done just yet. He's still resolving himself to really work on his conditioning, trying to gain yet a few more pins to his average and make a few more runs at a major title. Of course, Hingham made it to the finals a few years ago when it was held at Central Park Lanes. Beaupre, the pins haven't been kind until now. Finally, the 9-pin gives him some salvation, and he gains 4 pins on the spot. So a massive swing, possibly a 10-pin swing at least for Metro in that last box, and now they have the lead going into the anchor bowlers. It's a marathon, not a sprint, that old chestnut. Bowlers from all over, including from Western Massachusetts in the house as well, packing into these lanes. Only a few here at Ryan's Millis. I stress 22 lanes, and we're not occupying nearly all of them. If you're in the Millis, Massachusetts area, you see all the darkened lanes to the left, still open for parties. You might as well. That's Ed Woodside to the left there, and I believe Dave Godwin to the right, if my eyes aren't failing me. Here's Craig Holbrook. Versus an Ulster descendant and Aaron Fontaine. We all remember that thrilling matchup. It's one of the great chestnuts of Candlepin fandom. That epic match where Tom Ulster's triple strike broke Holbrook's heart in their Channel 5 showdown. 1, 8, and 9. Wow, that bouncing piece of wood did not get that 8. Hingham gets a mark back. We'll stick with a 9 on this one. And if you haven't had the chance to see that match, YouTube channel Wolfman12395, a treasure trove of old episodes. Between that and Alley Chat, a great archive of Channel 5 matches from the flagship bowling show, as seen on the Massachusetts ABC affiliate. Holbrook loads 7 on this fill. Fontaine on the headpin, but splits. Splits are indicated by those red bricks there. Yellow bricks the headpin hits. And a nice shot by Fontaine. What a spare that is. 5-1 conversion. And Metro now has an effective lead as Holbrook takes 10. So we go back to the top and we take a look at full scores here. So in that last pair of boxes, 4 marks for Hingham, 5 for Team Metro Bowl, and they now hold the lead at this stage. especially considering there was that spare versus 6-box exchange for Beaupre. That is padding their lead at the moment. Still 12 pins, each really only a 1-mark advantage, you'd think. Kessig back up here, bowlers switch lanes as you might imagine. 4 and 8. Apologies, had my chat hidden. I see some interesting comments I want to get to in a second. Zappi loads up 9, and he is still cooking here. Excellent shot by Kessig for the spare. Picked up his 2-pinner, I should say, 4 and 8. And simultaneous, he's going to wave that off. That's very interesting. It looked like simultaneous contact, but you see the spirit of sportsmanship in this game. As we see Fontaine's excellent 5-1 conversion once more. He almost went off the face of the 5-pin there. That's a great shot. His dynamic delivery, not unlike Tom Olsta, his grandfather, it has to be said. Kessig on with a trying to leave, spare 7 is the fill. When I mentioned that, obviously, since we're pointing cameras at the bowlers, there's a lot more scrutiny than in years past on these foul calls, especially since there's such a spirit of sportsmanship and an ethos of, I don't want to take a cheap shot. And Zappi, ever the traditionalist, definitely falls into that camp. But the rule of the ICBA is that if the contact is simultaneous, it's fair and a spare. Still, though, nobody wants to be the person who took that cheap spare, was wrong, and it tilted a match. That tends to result in a lot of guilt among a lot of pro bowlers. Kessig off target on the triangle. Zappi, a similar dilemma here with this wood that's oscillating in the gutter. His try, the lefty. Got it clean this time, spare. 3 marks and almost 4 for Mr. President as Kessig takes a 10-box and has 46 through 4. Let's come to the bowler's defense here since, of course, Mr. Cameraman back here sidled up and is adding this on, so I try to balance it out. Eddie Woodside wearing shorts, that's right, and we saw Zappi as well, Jack. Times have changed, you know, long trousers, of course, long pants was the only acceptable dress code once upon a time. But especially considering we've come away from, you know, back when suit and tie was standard attire for many bowlers, at least the culture of open bowling at the very least. But now, with how dynamic deliveries have become, a lot of bowlers say, there are some bowlers who even say, I can't bowl in anything but shorts, for example. Oftentimes the dress code, such as in the Pro Series, which Nick Zuffalato oversees, has a dress code that mirrors golf in many ways. It should be, golf shorts should be nice dress shorts, you know. If you're wearing jeans like I believe Dagostino is, they should be clean and orderly, you know. So presentation still matters, but the definition of that is changing to catch up in the year 2026. Third ball's a piece here. Freshing 9 with the front up to put a similar spin on Wallingford Live Skittles catchphrase. 8 for Dagostino. So 3 marks despite the relatively low head pin accuracy. It's really the emphasis on the second ball increases in a fast house like this because a lot of leaves are still makeable. And apparently in Fontaine's case, even if you get a disastrous 5-1 split, anything's possible. The threshold for what a spare is may lower, but still, the best bowlers are still able to take better advantage of it and get better scores in the long run. In this 3-string match, that variance should definitely even out. Actually, with a 9-pin drop here, 4-pin. Stand, curl, and deliver at this 4-pin. Got it. Team Metro, again, with all those open marks stacking up still to be filled, now 4 is the seat to the right of the scoreboard. Really, they have the lead, even if Dagostino can get this nightmare out for a 10-box. Piece of wood in the middle here. That will it be helpful or mischievous? We'll find out. Gets his head pin, gets a deflection for 9. So you see, Hingham has a 3-pin lead right now, but really Metro has the advantage in this early stage of the match. Jones and St. Cyr. It is an early morning Saturday bowling show, isn't it, Duck Avenger? Got to bring back the nostalgia in a sort of way. Jones, oh wow, you were hit, 9-pin. It will not. My pleasure, Jack, as soon as I get a chance. Diamond cutting in front. Doing some early stream diagnostics, making sure that the presentation's good, and then I'll settle in here and get you some more statistics here. I mentioned averages for these two gentlemen. I remember that. That's the only two I've done it for. And there's the 10. Jones picks up 2 pins. Always keep an eye on details like that. So Central 3 had the most points, of course, in the league. High series in the league was Academy 2 in 1953. Just last night, Metro Bowl rolled a 678, which is their highest single of the year. An insane performance, including Aaron St. Cyr himself getting a 176 in that first string. Head pin this time, and he picks up right where he left off with a strike. So he sits down on another mark, and Jones right back in there to respond with a strike. So what? I only have one replay to show. Here you see that 6-pin get kicked out. As Winchell and Beaupre get back up here. Top averages, Justin Waters on that 127, clear ahead of Jeff Surette. When will he ever be bad? 123. Same Josh Daly, 123. Strike for Fontaine on his spare. That's Beaupre, excuse me. Keith Beaupre with a 20 box. We call this one the 6-pack, at least until that 5-pin wilted for Winchell. He can still make this. So Josh Daly, 123 average as well, but .06 different. Tim Douglas, 123. Charlie Collins, another Central 3 bowler, 122. And Keith Beaupre here on 121. 3-pin chiseled out by Winchell. A so close shot that's actually the worst one to take out. Goes intentionally right for the triangle and gets a fine 8 box considering what was left. Beaupre's hammer once more. The speed gun tops out at a certain speed here at Ryan's Millis. If you throw north of 40 miles an hour, it doesn't even display. For reference, Winchell at the end of the lane is 31 miles an hour. Maybe next year we'll get more Bob Lee speedometer things, or I could put that spreadsheet up at some stage. 7 to start the strike fill. Winchell out of the hand left. Tipping pins, 1, 3, and 7. Chance here is Metro Bowl mounting a lead here. 13 pins plus another 2 extra marks. Still on the fill, Beaupre. Got 2 more sticks anyway, and that's not. So 19 bonus pins for him. Above the average for anyone marking. John, again, maybe the ball hung up in his hand there, and it's left of center again. Kate sticks with 9, who needs that head pin. Good to see you, Ron. I missed you in chat there. Nice. Good morning to you. And a 10 box. Whether you're daylight saving time or not, it's all morning. I can follow along with that. Now it's Fontaine, now it's Holbrook. Aaron Fontaine, 7th place, right behind his teammate with a 120 road average. Always seems like it could be easily higher, of course. There's a head pin, 5-pin out. These pins do move. Some combination of the deck treatment and the sidewalls is usually the usual suspects here. Well maintained here. I know Steve Reno Sr. involved as well. Another Channel 5 alumnus just like Holbrook. Fontaine with the spare. Recent champion on one of our Candlepins for Cancer ladders, emulating the old TV formats. Holbrook on the middle wood there, does not carry the 10. Most pins are Garland. These are the other pin manufacturer, American Products pins, used in other houses, like at Metro Bowl. Only half of Metro Bowl actually uses these. Just taking a look here. Perhaps the right side of the wood would have taken the 10, but it's hard to say if that would have spun the gears into the 7. It may have been a no-win situation for Holbrook. That's when I'll have to do my homework. But yes, American Products pins are used at Metro and at Exeter, representing two of the teams here, Shooter's Pub, like you see to the right, and of course the namesake team, Exeter Lanes, last year's season and playoff champions. 5 fill for Fontaine. 5, that should be. Holbrook, a high hit, but it all mixes out. 2, 4, and 7 with what he doesn't necessarily need. Fontaine, what a bid here. Wood's coming back, and it touches the 3-pin, but does not drop it. Holbrook drives it straight back, and Hingham gets a mark. They needed that. You see the tide of this match is really tilted in Metro's favor as Fontaine gets just a 10 this time. And we'll see it here, 36 pins. 5 marks to 3 for Team Metro Bowl. There you go. There are a few bowlers who dip below a 110 average, but a distinct minority of them. You can see the full standings and averages if you follow along with the link in the description there. I do not say that to silence you. I just want to allow you to follow along with what I'm saying, if anything. You can go to that standings link that Secretary Corey Alisi maintains himself. You are seeing exactly the same stats that the bowlers do by following along with the link in the description as well. Great questions. I really appreciate them. Split here for Kess at the 5, 7, and 8. But yeah, definitely you want to be maintaining a 110 average to really be cracking a roster by and large. Otherwise, obviously some teams have bowlers that are below that, but only the top 8 of 12 teams advanced. Wood will not come across for Iceman, and he's left with a 7-pin. Had a bit of a despondent conversation with Leo, a great custodian over at Academy Lanes in Haverhill, Massachusetts, saying like, oh, so we had 3 teams and only one of them made it, huh? Well, Academy 2 is doing pretty well. They have won this league before. Team Hingham made the finals recently, and Team Metro Bowl, pieces of it, won back when Sunnyside Lanes in Danvers, Massachusetts had a team. It's a mixture of them and members of Team Lafayette. Had been still mixing sticks, but nothing will nestle in between the 3 and 9 for Zappi. That's unlucky for him, as now he's going to have to throw an intentionally bad ball to get this to go. Keswick also is not going to be thrilled with this zigzag 5, 6, 9, and 10. Some have called it the lightning bolt. Don Gillis would say parallel pins. Take your pick. On the 3-9. It was always going to be difficult anyway. Keswick, you see him trying to glance the 6-pin on the right side there. Missed it altogether, but that's a very fine target. It really wasn't that bad of a miss, because you have to hit the 6-pin so fine, glanced off the 9, and bounced back into the 5. Now the strong way triangle is not a tenable leave, but he ends up with the same 8. 8 boxes aside, 33 pins still the advantage for Metro, who have 10 marks to 7. Those 3 marks provide a distinct but far from conclusive advantage. Central 3 versus Millis, 1 versus 8 over yonder. 2 versus 7, Exeter versus Central 1. 3 versus 6 we see in front of us. That's Metro and Hingham respectively. Women 4 and 5, Academy 2, and Shooters Pub. 4 and 5 respectively. Head pin for Freshie. On his fill, gets a 9-pin drop. So 23 bonus pins for him already. 3 and 10. Off the wood is Dagostino. Caused a sideways deflection. This piece of wood is much easier for Freshie to cover, and he's got it. 72 in a ball. And Dagostino gets a 10 bucks. Can't really move this, unfortunately. Forgive me musing to myself. I was trying to get out of the way of the bowlers there a second. 42-pin advantage. And Metro, who just rolled a 670 to start, 678 to start a match just yesterday, has not lost any steam. Until now, perhaps, with that forfeit. Still, 76 half for Zoffalato. Dagostino displeased with that now, and he has a pinning issue here. Freshie easier to pin this out, but he's down the 2-pin. Thankfully gets 3 to carry, which puts him arguably in the lead. Dagostino goes for the safe pins and collects 9. So prudence is the best policy here, and now actually he could gain sticks here. As Freshie should go intentionally right as well, and he does the same thing. So a basic tactic of Candlepin demonstrated there, going intentionally right. And you see that even in the unlikely case of Dagostino's leave, it actually created that sidewall momentum, just what he needed to escape with a fine 9. Caroline, not sure if I said good morning to you, but great to see you all the same. By the way, I forgot to mention Kessick a 114 average, Zappi a 109. Present day, of course. Jones down the middle, spread eagle. Jones's ball has that tendency to come in so straight and narrow. It's one of those things that's so hard to scientifically explain, but of course you see the result at the other end. $25 from the former Spread Eagle Productions. That's us, Candlepin Bowling Network, if he could have made that for a spare, but instead settling for a 6 fill. Trying to maximize sticks. Saints here on the side saddle triangle. Off the wall, and it dies there as Woods stopped up the momentum, and he has a 9 fill. So he's already gained 3 on the fill. Now gains 1 in the box, and it's a 4-pin gain for Metro Bowl all told, and now it's a 50-pin advantage minus that offsetting mark of Holbrook's. That's all that's there as the momentum slows down. In that last pair of boxes, by the way, Hingham had 3 marks, Metro Bowl 5. Danesdale, good morning to you as well. Thank you. Headpin Jones 9, as you see his headpin accuracy continuing to mount here, even though the string is below the score he wanted. Saints here with a hammer. That 10-pin was the last to fall, but only just. His second strike in 3 boxes. Alas, were they consecutive. Jones covers. A spare can be just as good as we get another look. See, he comes across, Saints here does, with that delivery. Very reminiscent of Charlie Collins, and of course, both of them in that youth program. Very interesting, but a lot of bowlers like to throw that clockwise ball, save for these two, obviously, our cross-lane bowlers, Boudreau and Winchell. Ryan Family Amusements, Millis, Massachusetts, home of the world record-setting women's single, the queen of the high single, Jenny Rowe, 210. Boudreau off the wood, not much going there. Just trying to make a wild shot there, but the wood might have been too deep on the 3-pin, which in fairness is much easier to say in hindsight. Ryan's has many locations across Massachusetts, especially in the Cape Cod area as well. All of them have arcade games, most of bowling as well. Go to, what's that website? Oh yeah, thanks, Bowlmore. RyanFamily.com, as you see on the pin sweeps. That's quite a contrast to houses, Caroline. You bowled at Pilgrim Lanes and Rollaway, which I associate as fast houses. Comparably fast pin action like here. Not that it does Winchell any good here with the split. But Diamond Junction and Palmer, being one of those older school houses, so old school that the foul line is thicker. I haven't studied its pin action nearly as much, but that's what we mean by fast house versus tough house, as you know, of course, Caroline, but for everyone's benefit. How tough it is to get your marks here and meet the threshold for what is a 10, a spare, and a strike. That's why these guys are here, regardless of what houses they've bowled out of, across this Friday Night Pro League 35-week season. Oh, they know how to meet the threshold either way, as Winchell gets 10 and gains just 1 pin because of Beaupre's out there. Would you like to see something special, though? It's only a 10th pin, perhaps, but that 4-7-10 is going to come off the wall, and the twirly bird is going to take that down. So it was more of an honest house Pilgrim, huh? Interesting. Usually on the TV shows it definitely played quicker, but that might have been just for that. For example, on Candlepins for Dollars, like Holbrook appeared on. Among other bowlers, Phil 7 on the triangle spare again. 3 marks in the half. When will he ever be back? Will he ever retire? 4 horseman Fontaine too far outside. Does not carry to the 10. So a little break here for South Shore Country Club. Bit of a break there. 10 box for Fontaine, 63 at the half. There's a question of verbiage. A lot of houses refer to themselves as the lanes. You know, Exeter lanes, for example, Central Park lanes, Riverwalk lanes representing Riverwalk and Lafayette. Head pin hit. Fontaine does not carry the 7, but a good shot here. But on the back of South Shore Country Club's shirt, it's the alley at South Shore Country Club, which a lot of houses and organizations would say, you know, excuse me while I catch up on the scoring here. Motor mouth got me carried away there about the difference between an alley and a center, for example, like Boutwell's Bowling Center as well. But clearly for a country club, if they don't mind the term alley, how bad can it be? What's in a name? 332 to 368, that is confirmed as you see here, including those open marks. So Metro Bowl ahead by 36 pins, plus they're up 2 hits to 1. As bowlers would say. 4 horsemen left side for Al Kessick. One of those 3 leaves. If you're new to Candlepin, you can pull down the FAQs. One of those 3 you ought to learn terms, along with half Worcester, albeit an American term, but named for the birthplace of Candlepin. And of course, the dreaded spread eagle. Still they fall for Zappi, but not really what he wanted here. 7-10. Does this wood play? Goes for the deep wood instead, hoping for a sidewall carom. It was so vertical, don't you think? Hard to see if John even should have attempted that. Instead, he plays a prudent pinning shot here, challenging Kessick, who has 3 pins standing. Does escape with 9. So Zappi at most can gain 1, but at least has the plank there. Red line right may be required, never mind. 10 it is. Good morning to you, another Arizona viewer, Sanford Fuss. Nice to see you. I've seen a few requests for Candlepin to make it over to Arizona. Candlepin should be for everyone, even though at present it's relegated to Northeast North America. Not that that's such a bad fate, but small balls are more fun. I said what I said. Zappi spread eagle. Maybe it's a little less fun in that case. Now Iceman has the 7-10, this time with a more interesting wood puzzle up top there. Does the wood diverge if he hits it in the middle? He'll try. Ooh, that 7-pin was hit. How dare you? Ooh, boy. Four 7 for Zappi. So a pin struggle here as Metro Bowl could gain yet more pins for the number 3 seed. So on paper, it does seem as though we're headed for, there have been 3 teams really who have been the haves versus the have-nots this season in terms of pin luck and ability. Metro Bowl showing that here as this match is currently going up to chalk at the moment. Of course, 16 pins different in average over the course of the season, which, you know, adds up to a significant 48 pin advantage over the course of a 3-string match like today. But of course, there's enough room for variance. Just a couple weeks ago, this man Sam Dagostino did roll a 400 on our coverage. 403 if memory serves, yes, including a 156 in the opener. Not having that debut in the wee hours of the morning. Freshie sure is, though, on a 76 half. Now has a head pin in the 7th and 9 drop. Dagostino here, synthetic lanes, so you really have to generate your own break on your ball here. There's a tendency for balls to hydroplane on the synthetic surface. Freshie used to have a towel he used to mark his spot on the approach, but has since abandoned the either superstition or technique. He spares here and has a 5-mark string in just 7 boxes. Sam rips away just 2 pins. His wife Trisha frequently comes along here, and I believe his daughter Bella and her boyfriend Zach both bowl here at Ryan's Millis as well. Dagostino gets a 9-box. Dagostino once bowled 19 strings of a 20-string Easter Classic because he was late coming back from the Kahala or whatever restaurant it was at the halftime lunch break. That's referring to that 20-string tournament at Leda Lane. So I will beg his pardon for bringing up that anecdote probably one time too many. Although I would like to thank John Zappi along with, sorry, should I have moved that? I'm sorry. The bowlers have to get past here. We apologize for the earthquake, of course. Freshie's got it again, a 6-mark string, 3 couplets of marks. Dagostino has been luckless on these splits here. You see he's pinned them out well despite that, including that 9-box from earlier. But Leda Lanes hosts that annual 20-string tournament, of course, which of course was missed and a couple of houses filled in the gap, both Abington, Mass. and Boutwell's Bowling Center, Concord, New Hampshire recently. So that's why I bring up the Easter Classic, albeit with that cheeky anecdote, I freely admit. I'm relying on Sam's good nature to forgive me for bringing that up. But the reason I bring it up is Leda Lanes had a really heartwarming post where they mentioned on their Facebook page, we've missed the sound of the lanes. But St. Cyr just misses a double strike. We've really missed having that community center, and we've missed the crashing of the pins, like that 9-drop by Jones. And we have big plans for a community center, a place where neighbors can come together. And we just need investment and partnership at this point is essentially the text of their post. You can read it for yourself, again, on Leda Lanes, who have been really forthright about the process, including the forced relocation, of course. after a lease back turned into a forced relocation. But although it would not likely be in Nashua itself, the lanes are in storage, and they do have a plan to bring back this entertainment center. St. Cyr, another 9-drop, 34 bonus pins already, with very few lost. Chance for the 130s. So all told, Southern New Hampshire is looking good for this. And St. Cyr is looking good. He gained on the spare fill, and he's gained another here in Metro Bowls pulling away. So really looking forward to seeing, even though this may still be some time for a business vision to become reality, Leda Lane's resilience, including when, the 2008 economic crisis almost shuttered them in the first place, but then they were able to persevere through that. It just seems as though the legacy of the Seminoles and now the Howards is just plainly evident, and I have full faith that Leda Lanes might make a comeback, especially at a time when we've seen a lot of other beloved centers not fare so well. Metro Bowl pulling away here, so you see that marked swing and another, so now 58 pins plus another. Still 2 strings to go. That's the current solace for Hingham at the moment. Candlepin in Virginia SDGA? Oh man, that would be wonderful. The biggest difficulty of that, of course, is that it is duckpin country as well, albeit not as much as, say, Maryland, perhaps, and Connecticut. Boudreau with a strike. And the hits just keep on coming from Metro Bowl. But still, we have 2 duckpin centers up here in Massachusetts after all. Collins Bolodrome, no, Charlie has nothing to do with it. Collins Bolodrome and Billerica, and North Chelmsford lanes in that town. So even though we are proudly Candlepin country, there's room for the small ball bowling and many bowlers out of Massachusetts who will do both. Winchell back on this head pin, needs an out here. Has a 2-pinner to do that with, and he's got a 10. 4 straight 10s here, so you see the resilience of Winchell there. Never get tired of showing Boudreau strikes, though. A little high on the head pin, in fact, actually. Needed some help from the rolling wood to get that. All goes all the same. That's the power of Boudreau generating that. And Metro Bowl almost has the pins to go 100 ahead in the string. Does he get a double strike here? He came darn close. And he's got an excellent fill here, and now it really could be a triple-digit blowout in this first string. Winchell here gets his head pin, but the ball was tailing away. Cruel to say, he got his head pin, but unfortunately he gets this. Blank easily covered here for Boudreau, although it was riding the rail. But he's got a 4-mark straight. 1 for Kessick, 6 for Zuffalato, 5 for St. Cyr, 4 for Boudreau. And Fontaine is 3 to 5, depending on how he does in these next 2. To this 8-box point. Head pins are 25 to 20 in favor of Metro, so it's not a lot different, but each bowler averaging just that 1 head pin more to this point. And obviously over the course of a 10-box, over the course of 10, 20, 30 boxes, that could turn into something a whole lot more. This is Greg Gouillart speaking. You're watching Candlepin Bowling Network. Please, big favor, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button by hitting that thumbs up button. I'm going to try and keep this stream running as much as possible. It'll depend on the other matches, which are running to a comparable pace, if not better, than our match at the moment right now. So I'm going to try and keep it here. Obviously, semifinals will be, it'll be 15-16. We'll have to make a camera move on that one. And then the finals will be back here on 17 and 18. I have confirmed. Holbrook head pin, down goes the 4. Needed that break here. Fontaine on the right side. Oh my goodness gracious. How do you compete against brilliance like that? The 5-7-8 clean by Fontaine. Holbrook covers his single pin for the matching spare, and another look here. As despite Holbrook's legendary efforts in its own right, Fontaine shaves the 8 into the 7 excellently. 4 marks for him. Hello over there in Tennessee and Mock. Username pronunciation guides appreciated. If I botch it, thank you very much. Leaves a hay bale this time. The thin hit. Now throws a thin hit on this ball when you don't want to throw it. Holbrook only a slightly better fill, so 2 pins back for Hingham. Off target this time. This is makeable here, so Holbrook could gain in this pair of boxes, all told, opposite this highlight reel. 2-1 split. Ooh, rang the 3-pin around the 10. And you see his head pin accuracy there. On both sides, really, very few missed head pins as indicated by the non-standard gray bricks. Everything else you see on the sides of the screen is standard Candlepin notation. Back to the top, have a look here. 516 to 440, just having a look here. Yes, that's confirmed. 3 extra hits for Metro Bowl, so the chance to be already triple digits ahead, especially the way these fills have been going. Fills, by the way, 7.7 is the average fill for Team Metro Bowl to the 6.4 of Hingham. So you're gaining more than a pin for each extra mark you have, plus you're ahead by 9 clear marks as well, and we see where this match is going in a hurry. Zappi had a great start to the string here. Finds his head pin again, and they're collapsing in, and he's got a 9-pin drop. Kasich gets a 9-pin drop as well. Kasich's had a couple of diabolical leaves to deal with here, just as the 1 mark in this early going. Zappi, the wood may be frozen, but he'll want to go high anyway. Oh, he's got it. Did not eat the wood. He got a rise out of his teammates, though. And Kasich responds for Metro Bowl. So it'll come down to the fills on that. I'm remiss on a few averages. Craig Holbrook has a 113 average present day and Winchell a 112 average present day. That's across Friday Night Pro League houses, and it's a road average, so it includes all road matches plus a few select home matches to balance out the pool and not punish bowlers who bowl in a fast house like Team Millis. But that's what determines the end-of-year average payouts, which Justin Waters is number 1 but isn't actually given a payout here on my spreadsheet, I'm noticing, for a reason I'm actually not entirely sure why. I know, of course, you can only win certain things. You can't win more than 1 award in certain things if they are basically, you can't win, say, like high single and high average, for example. But maybe he didn't put in a pool, for example. Hard to believe. Waters surely has faith in his abilities. But there you go. No marks in the 10th. Al Kasich 107, John Zappi 120. I'm told this is a fast house. Where's my 120? Come on. My high single is 160, but that's only because I won that Crossy Road game in the arcade here at Ryan's. Dagostino with 6-pack right side. Losing the head pin in this early going. If he starts picking up in strings 2 and 3, though, his match could change unless Freshie never slows down. That's his 7th mark in 9. One and 5 here. Mark Milliken, nice to see you. Good morning to you as well. So you're still doing the private transportation. I wasn't sure on that. Great to see you all the same. Paul Grant live on lanes 19 and 20. That's headpin Dagostino. Yikes, 5, 9, and 10. Apparently you don't need the wood, just ask Fontaine, but that's a brutal one. Freshie on a strike. Does not need a mark for 150. Here he comes. On the 2-pin, he can still load up the strike at least. So still the possibility of a 150, but he'll have to pin this out. Ooh, 2 pins, good shot there. once more. Head pin. Oh, glancing blow here, and the fill is 5. So 150 denied for Freshie. Dagostino into triple digits. Freshie several dozen ahead of this, pending this third ball. And the box is 9. Well made on the diamond. Snooker's a 147. In reference to the maximum score in that billiards game. Jones and St. Cyr. St. Cyr doing fine for himself here. Above his season average, of course. Jones about bang on, all told. Remember, St. Cyr had a 176 yesterday. Split here for Jones. And a 1-7-10, the high-low, or high-low jack, for St. Cyr. I heard Don Gillis say the high-low, and it's a jackpot against the high-low, so I'm a little confused on the etymology, but the origin of the word, so to speak. Jones, does the wood assist the split? Yes, it does. Nice shot on his object pin, and Jones blows it up. St. Cyr gets deflected. But just about everyone calls it the high-low jack, the 1-7-10. Or, of course, the 1-7-10 Sports Center leave. If you ask Paul Grant, he'll happily reference a state of Maine house any day. An 8-box here. One look at the Jones spare. I need to bring up Oakland Park in a second here, but first, let's watch this replay, and then we'll watch the spare. Because Oakland Park needs the public's help, and I'll get to that in just a moment. 8-box fill here. 8-pin fill, excuse me. St. Cyr has a 2-pinner here to get his own 140. Jones, boy, does the wood do anything for him? Gonna try it. Whoa, nice shot. St. Cyr back on it. He's got a spare. Second mark off the head pin, but again, you see the head pin producing more marks than not. Jones makes it to his 120. So Oakland Park Bowling Center in Maine is very open about the fact that they're encountering funding issues. We all know the price of energy is going up among one, and of course just they're falling on harder times than most atop all that. A 4 fill for St. Cyr, 140. Team Metro, 90 pins plus another mark here. So the Oakland Park Bowling Center has a GoFundMe, basically, and I don't have the link in front of me at the moment, but Nathaniel McBrien, Natty McBrien, of course, but you could search up Nathaniel McBrien's fundraiser, Oakland Park Bowling Center on GoFundMe. And they just could use some help, including with short-term expenses, not just short-term expenses, but also some needed renovations that they've needed for some time here, in order to keep their operations afloat and also invest in some things that would really stabilize their operations, because it's a lovely 8-lane house over there as Winchell picks this up for the mark, and they could use that help. So if you have some money to spare and want to do some goodwill for the Candlepin community, let's see if I can find this real quick. Beaupre pinning out this eagle. He gets stuck with a 7-box, so 21 pins, not much of it. And yes, there it is. It's called Save Oakland Park Bowling Center, and I'll put this link, I believe, in chat here. That should be it. I just put it in chat there for you folks to see. Winchell's fill is 9. Exactly the sort of box that could get Hingham back into it after he made that 2-pinner off the head pin. So there you see the link there. And again, if you have the chance, much appreciated. And there's the conversion by Winchell. Paul Grant will also be doing a fundraiser out there. We'll announce that on Candlepin Bowling Network later, but he'll be live streaming that, just like he did for All Play in Belfast, Maine. Listener, that has to be said, is still going present day, of course. So even though Candlepin has stabilized in a lot of ways, and we see great stories like Lita Lanes, for example, it's not easy for everyone, and frankly, owning a bowling center just isn't easy, period. So that's where it's at. Still, the game is alive and well, as we see here. Friday Night Pro League playoffs, a long-running league. What's coming? Don't hit that button too soon. Now it's an 8-fill, and Winchell gets 107. So Zappi and Jones with that 120. The others stuck in the 100-aughts. Holbrook, of course, can have a 120. So, again, 3 bowlers from Hingham are probable to have 120s. But you see Metro already on 625, 645 perhaps, even if Fontaine fails to mark, which he seldom fails. 5 and 7. There's a 9-pin drop. Holbrook, wow, tried to shave that 5-pin. Fontaine has to just deflect off the wood. It's a guide rail. He's got it all the same for the spare. And he's headed for 130s, in fact. So a 9-pin drop, 9 box for Holbrook. We've seen many times where 600s can be no good in Class A of the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, a great traveling league. It takes place in not just Millis, but numerous houses across the North, South, and West Division. All regions basically within some distance here in Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. And you can see those matches online at the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour. Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour Facebook page. We've seen many times where the 600s aren't good enough here in Millis because of the conditions here. And unfortunately, this seems to be a vivid case of, you know, obviously these bowlers deserve to be in this league, even if there's no per se relegation. It's just you may not get picked by a captain the next go round if it comes to. Holbrook stuck with a 7 box, and Fontaine another quality 10 and a 129. That easily could be higher. He only left 1 pin standing all game long. You see here, 567 to 649, no intermission. We plunge straight into the 2nd string. I'll get this board set. And we'll move straight on into string number 2. Pardon the radio silence, just need to get this set up here, and then we'll be back underway. That looks good, and it'll update to string 2 as soon as we enter a score automatically. So that is that. Great to see you all out there. This is Candlepin Bowling Network. We're live from Ryan Family Amusements in Millis, Massachusetts. My name's Greg Gouillart. 3-string match, total pinfall, no points today, unlike the other weeks of the season, but that and the fact it's not Friday, and it's not the night. But other than that, there's no other differences. Headpin spread eagle for Zappi, and that's a tough start there. Both sides getting their headpin, but Metro with the advantage, but the single's blown. A little bit of a reprieve there, but still an 82-pin advantage in this first string for Hingham to work out. Of course, if each you make up 41 pins per string, that starts to become a more makeable target here. 9 box for Kessick. And we've seen that happen, albeit in reverse. Shooter's Pub had a great comeback against Metro. What is Gregory trying to say here? Shooter's Pub had a great comeback against Hingham in that first string of last night's coverage. And of course, Hingham held on for the victory there. In a match, they went on to win 6 points to 2. That is to stay 2 strings in total to the 1 string of Shooter's Pub out of Exeter Lanes. 9-pin drop for Kessick. 107 in the previous string. Zappi, you see the problem with splits there. And there you see it, David. It updates automatically, string 2 of 3. Thank you for making sure, though. Gregory does have a bad habit of forgetting that, as Kessick makes the spare. That's why I had to do it automatically. I excel at Excel. 3-5-10, gettable for Zappi's left to right ball. He's got it. That dagger of a cross lane delivery, as we've seen on many shows, including $30,000 Candlepin Challenge, for example, on Comcast. Freshie with the Ronnie O'Sullivan, 147. Takes up here at lane 18 of 22 here at Ryan Family Amusements, Millis, Massachusetts. Hall of Fame ownership in the Ryan brothers. That's the International Candlepin Bowling Association, or ICBA Hall of Fame. The very same we mentioned with John Zappi these past few weeks. A lot of John Zappi coverage, I know, but come on, the man's retiring. And I'll tell you one thing, the Zappi family, both John and Leanne, gave a really nice gift to Paul. They actually made him a cake, or bought him a cake, one or the other. And it was a very nice gesture, you know. Really nice to know the bowlers are appreciated, just are appreciating what we do, but still, we're ambitious sorts and we want to keep doing better, and you know Paul is that ambitious sort just like I am. So it's nice to know that the respect for one another is mutual. And that's really the thing about these bowlers as well. It's one of the reasons I like covering them so much. It's been true in past times, and it's been true present day as well. If you're respectful to them, they'll be respectful to you. Maybe just don't interrupt them while they're bowling. That's a very competitive switch they've flipped at this point, and they're very much all focused on the lanes. Like you see the eye contact at the bottom of your screen. They're all really focused on the match. But at basically any other time, they're very approachable. And oftentimes they won't mind if you say hi and say, hey, I really like watching you on the streams, say if you're in the area, for example. So, worth a try. Both good leaves here. Freshie still with an 8 fill. And he does not get it. That's a tough one on that piece of wood. Maybe he wanted to go on the left side. Single pin, it's in front. Dagostino spins it in, and he's got a spare. So there's that second mark. So staying relatively even in this one, despite that 6 box, obviously, which was a bit unlucky for Zappi. Jones and St. Cyr. So there's the ICBA, that's the International Candlepin Bowling Association. They write the rules, and that's linked in that Candlepin FAQs thing. There is also the Candlepin Bowlers Association. President Dave Barber, just like he's vice president of this Friday Night Pro League, trying to make a lot of changes for the good of the game from a bowler's perspective as well. So nice to have that other perspective as an organized advocacy group, and looking forward to seeing what they do. They actually put out a listing of averages overall across numerous tournaments, including the Men's International. Another single pin gets away here for Metro. Jones, of course, in Nightmareville with this spread eagle leave. The Shadow Realm? Something like that. So 9 all the same here for St. Cyr, and Jones is going to hit his object pin a second time, but gets stuck with a 6. That's the short-term breaks, unfortunately, but again, tends to even out in the long run. Head pins right now 37 to 33, so again, not terribly different, but I do want to point out one thing. The split statistic is wild at the moment here, and that is 21 splits to 9 for Hingham at the moment. Hingham has 21 splits and Metro has just 9. So it might be the power of the ball. It might be just sheer luck as well. But all the same, it's creating this situation where St. Cyr, who has yet to split today, although Jones responds, is getting all these marks. Freshie has not had a split today, not a 1. Oh, Karen and Jeff, thank you so much. I would have said thanks to the first comment, but now thank you very, very much for the $20 as well for that super sticker. Really appreciate you all. And what I am looking into right now, I want to give a tangible update on what we're trying to do with the money. I would actually like to get a wireless mic set up, say, which will enable us to, not strangle the bowlers as we go out there. And it might just make the little awkward pause at the end of the post-game interview between that third string and when we go out there. It might just make it a little better and just make the viewing experience that much better for you folks as well. So that's a commitment I'd like to make to on the air and make that happen somehow. And although YouTube takes us part of the way as well, your support is still truly appreciated and truly useful to us as well to make these broadcasts better for you and the bowlers. So thank you very much, Karen and Jeff, again for that. 8 box. Aside. So Hingham holding serve 3 marks to 3 at the moment. But yeah, it's a little funny, a bit of slapstick there when Paul tries to get it there, and I'm trying to make sure he doesn't go fishing by accident, You will not deny the man his interview, He is cognizant, but of course, my technology is what it is. He's doing it on the fly, and there we go. Winchell there. That looks head pin. A little bit on the crossover side. 3, 9, and 10. So Boudreau suddenly getting the splits here. And remember, one of his non-splits was that W leave, which would greeted him. A very rude good morning greeting. 8-10. My goodness. Lateral wood motion there, but does not get the spare to go. Winchell had to try it on the object pin, obviously, but and you see him muttering to himself about his placement. I think one of my favorite bowling videos recently was watching a Tournoi de Petite Quille, the tournament of the Québécois duck pins they have over there, rubber band string duck pins as well, from an older show. And obviously when the bowler got on target and know he was going to hit it full for their equivalent of the spread eagle, mutters one of those Québécois profanities in a delightful way. And although it's quite sadistic to say, I enjoyed that very much, of course, from a foreigner's point of view. But that's their small ball game. The only place I know that plays rubber band string duck pins over here in the United States is Glassport Lanes in Pennsylvania. They only play with 2 balls at a time, in fact. Most of the other small ball games, like 5-pin, and of course here, Candlepin bowling, play with 3. Holbrook a spread eagle. So a point about splits, we remember watching Hingham in Academy 3, where Academy 3 only had 1 strike, Mike Nardone's. Fontaine gets a spare here. And the spread eagle doesn't work out for Holbrook. So it's not that they're throwing it terribly slowly, but of course just that little extra power that Metro has, clearly throwing the ball with more strength, even though accuracy wins out in the end, clearly makes such a big difference. What it does cause is a lot of bowlers to think, okay, well, power is the aim here, but if you are throwing the ball wildly, it will not work. And for example, Josh Daly, one of the reasons he went from excellent to elite is the fact that he admits he focused more on his accuracy, took a few miles an hour off his ball, a similar adjustment to Beaupre, I believe, and they're better for the change. Dear Pins, do you not know who Craig Holbrook is? How dare you give him this? Fontaine with a spare. So already with 6 splits here, there is something to be said about, say, break angle. And, imagine if we had, with an infinite budget, what if we had, say, strike tracks like the PBA has as well? Could it be shown why the ball doesn't necessarily drive through? We're all, of course, playing on the same pin conditions here, but you see the splits are having a big impact here, even though head pin accuracy has been pretty comparable both in this string and in this match. As it is, it's a quality 10 for Holbrook. And we go back to the top and have a look here. 112 to 86 is confirmed, 3 marks aside. And there we go. 6 splits and 3 marks to 5. Metro Bowl with 2 extra marks, 5 marks. Getting 4 marks in 10 boxes is pro tier. You assume, say, a strike and 3 spares. They actually have 5 spares, 2 to 3 of Hingham. Strikes are rare. It's a game of spares, and that's all you need, even in fast conditions. SDGA, thank you very much also for past donations, but now for the $50. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, that is expensive technology, I'll tell you what. So a donation so generous as yours, in addition to the donation streak you've been keeping going throughout all these broadcasts, which, You never have any obligation to, but because you have has been greatly appreciated. That's why I wanted to give that transparent update as well about, say the wireless microphone and all that, which I know other broadcasts have as well, like Micah Imperados, I should say. 3-1 could have gone, but the wood rolled behind the 6 instead. And Keswick gets the spare to make it 19 and another. So I'll be talking with Bob Lee, our executive producer. I'm sort of the acting executive producer while he's had to take time away amid both bereavement and a real personal life pursuit to really maximize his bowling as well. He participates in a lot of leagues right now, but still very much involved in the channel financing and, building a structure of, how we invest in all this as well. And I think investing in these wireless mics, which we'd probably do on all broadcasts aside from Candlepins for Cancer, probably just to make that just a little bit more reliable. But the wireless mics should work in a lot of cases. And I've gotten to consulting. I've consulted actually one of the Sweetwater.com folks on that. They always reach out as well and shower you with a few pieces of candy every now and again. Probably when I buy it next. And then I'll just make it nice. So again, SDGA, thank you very, very much for your and everyone's support. And you folks as well. Super chatting is just an above and beyond thing. Just by watching, you're helping. Thank you very much. 3-1 and 1 split for Zappi. Nice try on this one, but you see Hingham's woes with splits, unfortunately failing them. And just because Ryan's Millis is a fast house does not mean it is not a, so to speak, splitty house. At least I'm pretty sure I heard Danny Finn correctly, and he didn't say something else. The 9-box here. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. Danny, his sister Beth, all employed here, of course. Jeremy Seaholm, pro bowler, a former manager here, in fact. A lot of overlap here in the Ryan's Millis leagues, as even Paul himself will mention, with leagues that Paul Grant himself bowled at Fairway Sports World in Natick, Massachusetts, to bring it back to that Channel 5 connection we mentioned earlier. A lot of the leagues migrated here, just like, say, for example, Pilgrim Lanes, Caroline was mentioning earlier. Went to Academy Lanes, Haverhill, logically. A lot of room under there with even 44 lanes instead of 48. Ho-hum, they downsized. 9-pin drop for Freshie. That's Nick Zuffalato, one of the most easily associated names. A couple of new dads in the group as well. Nick Zuffalato, recently a father, as is Chris Jones as well. Am I forgetting anyone? I don't believe so. On this 10-pin, it's good. Metro again with a mark. 2 unresponded marks to start this salvo of 2 boxes. My term, nobody else's. 9-box. No, I'm not being possessive. I just want you to know it's not a mainstream Candlepin term, unlike others I've mentioned. It's really delightful. The Pro Series, of course, which is that almost monthly series of events. Which, of course, Aaron Fontaine was Bowler of the Year on for winning the most points in the regular season, just like Central 3 is the Friday Night Pro League regular season champion, a major title in its own right. Aaron Fontaine was the regular season winner in that Pro Series. Nick Zuffalato, one of several organizers, his wife Samantha, Dave and Allie Barber, and then Nate Lees and Lori Schiappa as well. And the Zuffalatos and the Barbers with children often bring them to the Pro Series events as well. And so they learn pretty quickly to tune out the sound of crashing pins, and it works out pretty well. This is a 10-box for Dagostino. Freshie's got to get a couple here. Aggressive out, it gets a 6-box. So a little bit of a swing back here as Phillies of 3 and 2. Despite the 2 marks for Metro, they haven't actually gained a lot of ground at the moment. Not yet, anyway. So a bit of stagnation here. But, of course, they still have a significant lead in the string. And, of course, the match lead is in triple digits. 1, 2, and 3 was pretty locked in. Hingham almost quipped, like, well, why do we bother showing up week 35? Well, triple strike jackpot. And, of course, bowling's fun. Why not? But there wasn't a lot at stake here, and they were pretty much fossilized into 6th place at that point, just like Metro could not have moved from 3rd place. Full standings available in the description on Facebook and YouTube if you pull it down. Paul Grant live on YouTube alone with his stream. He'll be keeping it live. He'll either keep it live or start a new stream for the semifinals. Jones with a spare on the 9-10. St. Cyr with a harder one, off target on this one, and Hingham gains again. Hingham has 10 splits in 15 boxes in this second string already. It has not phased Jones one bit, but still an incredible statistic here just to see that split disparity. For reference, Boudreau has the only 2 for Metro. So even though there is no oil pattern, there is no ball technology, there is no precise science for how to get your ball to curl in just the way you want, clearly there is an effect here that is having an outsized effect on this match in particular. Jones, meanwhile, has missed this headpin and clatters 9 in a heap anyway. So sometimes that happens as well, and Hingham's been long overdue for a break like that. St. Cyr, this 4-pinner, is pretty gettable as well. There's the cover, 3 marks in a row for Jones. No bonus money today. This ain't Candlepins for Cancer or the other shows, but there you go. Aaron gets his headpin, but glances it thin and doesn't get anything coming back for the 5-8. Candlepins for Cancer, a 501c3 charity by bowlers for bowlers. Your boy needs to update the website. We're now $118,500 over the lifetime of the charity given to bowlers and their families. Just a direct financial relief at a difficult time. You know, same spirit of charity like I mentioned that Oakland Park fundraiser you could see earlier, but of course this is a more personal one in just defraying the costs of even like annoying things. We all know even the hospital parking, for example, and all those visits, that can add up, and that starts feeling like a drain as well. And you know, it doesn't address, you know, say systemic costs and all that, you know, if only we had that much power, but just as far as we can do, just like the short term, you know, just like helping out with the costs that are in front of you with the reality you have present day, just meeting you where you're at. We are able to do that, and it is our pleasure to do so. And Ball's got the jar out again for the lemon drop pool, knocking out the 4 of the 6-pin out. But there you go. Winchell again taking advantage of headpin luck here. So now Hingham actually has tied the string and now can start to make a move back here in just this 3rd and 4th box. Maybe, just maybe, as Boudreau has split for the 3rd time but pins out well. Maybe, just maybe, there's a turning point here. These sorts of moments of hope need to come much more consistently for Hingham to make a run back into this. Winchell's lost his headpin here, he gets 5. Still a significant gain. Boudreau now busts this up, almost struck with the 2-pin getting bumped. He'll have to self-serve. This ain't New Jersey, you can. 4 horsemen and a 9-pin. 1, 2, 4, and 9. Good try by Winchell. But Boudreau gets this mark here, and Metro stabilizes the recent Hingham momentum. They had the last 3 marks unopposed. This time, Boudreau gets one back. The box is not. Fontaine and Holbrook again. Some statistics here. Mark Ritchie had the high single this season. Mark Ritchie and Aaron St. Cyr, excuse me. Of course, St. Cyr just getting it with that 176. Chris Kasnave 175. Dave Godwin 173. Justin Scally 171, who he had that top spot for a while. And Justin Waters with 170. And several others ranging down to the 160s. Fontaine clatters them. It was a high hit, but there's just no such thing. He just gets a sidewall bounce, and it's one of those where he's just immune to high hits punishing him because he just gets those sidewall counts. 18, 19, and this spare now for Fontaine. Anchoring Metro very well. Holbrook, who's in the splits as well, gets stuck with an 8 box. Well, Caroline, even those dollars alone, obviously we're always striving for more as well, and you know how important the cause is, but even just those little dollars, even those dollars one at a time, it all adds up to that 118.5, and you are now a part of that. So, although we don't always mention donors unless they want it. If recipients want us to say it, we will, but there are many more than are mentioned here. And it's our pleasure to be able to help out. Holbrook gets the mark here. Fontaine, he can make these. He does. He does. Aaron Fontaine just does not know how to miss. Once again, 3-2 split, and it's just so effortless with him. Just a higher order of bowling. And it means Metro Bowl still has the 17-pin advantage. Hingham got their 4 marks, Metro got 5, but also the counts weren't really terribly high. 10 bonus pins on the ones they got in the third to the 14 for Hingham, and now the 2 open marks. So still a question of what will happen next. Kasich strikes, mixed it out there at the last moment. Just 2 pins wilted together there. We'll see it again. Zappi, thanks for nothing pins. He's got the 4 and 9. Off the wood. Hard to make that work for both of them. Zappi a good bit on that. So Kasich with a strike here gives him a 60 half. All but surely. Haven't seen a double strike here. It could happen. Begs the question, could it still happen for Hingham at some point? But of course, they only have the 1 strike, and it's Jones, in fact. So they're sort of having a similar effect to what happened earlier in their match against Academy 3, when Academy 3 was the one not getting strikes. Kasich, yikes. Come on, where was the ball? Why don't you just throw the ball you did last time? Come on! It's the 1, 2, and 6 on the head pin. Well, the pins are trolls. They're fussy, aren't they? Zappi gets the 7-10. As you see the splits continuing to mount. Kasich for sticks gets 7 more on the strike. Escapes with it anyway after getting 2 object pins, so he gets his due. Zappi has the intersection of the wood up front. Let's see. Placed towards the right 2 pins, and it only carries the 10. Could anything have deflected into the 7? We'll see. Kasich has an 8 box. And Zappi, the chance for a quality pinning here after that 6 box has been pinning extremely well. 61. Get another look at the Zappi, Kasich hammer, excuse me. Was it a hammer? 5 pin gets a little bumped out. Hey, it's not a bombs away, baby. It's got to go faster than that. It is noteworthy. Paul doesn't necessarily think my impression of him is spot on. And definitely that one was a bit shocking. .22 pin advantage for Metro in this second string. You can see why they were one of the top 3 teams throughout the season. It's off a lot of the 1, 2, 4, and 10. Dagostino's been finding his head pin more. Lost it this time, but 2 pieces of wood make this a gettable one despite that. Got that 400 recently, of course. Freshie 3. Whoa, Wood nearly stole the head pin. Dagostino in there spare. Yep, those 2 pieces of wood. Little sticks of dynamite makes it all go boom. Dagostino's got a 2 mark half. So does Freshie, but of course, 10 bonus pins. Not so hot in that regard, unfortunately, but at least he's getting the marks. Metro was sputtering recently. They had 0, 2, and 4 points in their last 3 weeks. Hingham has, excuse the devilish Illusion 6-6-6 in the last 3. 4 and 10. Dagostino. That looked like a ball with purpose, don't you think? The fill is 9, and it's 64 at the half. Greg Gouillart, this is Candlepin Bowling Network. Please like the video if you're logged into the platform of choice, Facebook or YouTube, so that more people can see this stream. And if you could do the same for Paul Grant's stream on YouTube alone, much appreciated. 7 pin. Good. There's the single, so 2 marks. Dagostino doing exactly what the team needs. Of course, with all those splits Hingham's been confronting. Just because it's a fast house doesn't mean you're always going to get the leaves you want. This house can turn on you. Turns on even the best. Even Justin Waters, who is the top average, 127. He'll frequently have those strings where you see the red numbers litter the scoreboard, which are visible here on the Cubica AMF scorer. And he'll say, oh, that was fun. St. Cyr breaks up the 6-7 to Paul Grant's relief. 5 pins there for Jones, 5 tips, 4 tips, 2, and it's all there, including if the 2 pin tips as well. Where's this go? Is he going to strike? Heavens. The fill is 9 for Jones. Thank you very much. His opponent does not make the single pin, and now a great opportunity for Hingham here to take the lead in this string. Only total pinfall matters, but now that signifies the point where Hingham can start to chip away. Remember, still 2 strings to go. There it is. 26 bonus pins plus for Jones, who only gets 1 mark, sorry. And a 10 for St. Cyr. Don't get carried away. Maybe that mark will come soon enough. There are some bowlers who will even say, like, mark it down. Just put the mark on the board. And hope you don't need a score correct. That's an awkward smudge or a score correct button on the CompuScore if it doesn't work out. 3, 4, and 10 for St. Cyr. Jones got head pin, but it's full this time. 5 more and a 77.5. Ray Borkaff. Nice shot, 3, 4, and 10 with the wood. St. Cyr 2 object pins. That's down the curtain there, could pick up sticks as well. We did have a few Bruins recently on our special Polly's Push fundraiser in honor of the fallen 9/11 flight attendants. Polly Veneto will be pushing that beverage cart one last time on the 25th year on from that tragic day. That'll be about August, in time to make it to Ground Zero by the 11th of September. And we had a few Bruins that day. You can check that out. Obviously, there's a bit of a party atmosphere to that stream. We had that. Nick Fitzy Stevens on our stream. That man deserves a job, gosh darn it. It was great to have that, and great of John Humphrey, MBA president, Massachusetts Bowling Association president, to put that on. Check mark right side for Winchell. Massachusetts Bowling Association, one of the state associations here. There's also the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. We now know Aaron Fontaine and Tim Douglas will be the Massachusetts representatives for the men. And of course, Jerry Newport Jr. and Louis Graffam, we learned from the Maine states, will be there. Is Sam taking a souvenir? Did you see that? Looks like he's trying to pickpocket a pin. And the snitch with the camera, that's me, just called him out. 19 and another for Beaupre. Finally out of the doldrums there. The head pin does pay off at the end. So you see, it's a 60 half despite rotten luck. That's Pete Candlepin. Winchell responds with the spare. One interesting thing is the Massachusetts Bowling Association, which has long had that logo of a triangle of pins, although in the literal shape of a triangle, like tip to tip, making the vertices of a triangle. It's Beaupre gets another 9-drop here. Actually has debuted a new alternate logo, much in the same vein of the vertical NBA logo, National Basketball Association logo, another Massachusetts-based sport with Canadian history. And it's Craig Holbrook's silhouette. There it is. Winchell responding with the mark. So again, a stabilized string here as Hingham has pulled back here. I didn't see. Did Sam give back the pin? Rebecca, nice to see you here. Really glad that Candlepins for Cancer was able to help out as well. One of those willing to publicly attest, obviously. We expect anonymity, frankly, but really appreciate those who come forward and mention how much those donations really help out here. And, yeah, just seeing Al Johnson be able to do this for the bowling community, one where he's been able to succeed on Channel 5, and it's given him a lot and been a way for him to personally grow as well. And then here's two guys, Craig Holbrook and Aaron Fontaine, who epitomize that classiness. Craig, of course, over the years, who almost always has a story to tell. You talk about bowlers you can approach there. I mean, if you catch Craig at a good time, or like you see him in a crowd, and he has numerous stories to recount. And that's a man I think anyone should want the chance to meet someday. Holbrook escapes to the 9 here to match Fontaine's 9. And then, of course, Aaron Fontaine, like his brother Nate, also a strong bowler and youth prodigy in his own right. Not to step on Prodigy Bowlers Tour trademark. Great YouTube show with Randy Brown on the 10-pin bowling circuit. But he's learned, quote-unquote, the right way to play the game, and that's a direct quote of Tom Ulster, you know. He just wants to play the game the right way, you know. Obviously, Aaron is Tom's greatest fan. Trust us. A lot of you have watched the Channel 5 show religiously. Another 3-2 split. The man is just full of highlight reel shots today. Holbrook will not get this 10-pin. You let your bowling do the talking. That's the big thing. It's advice I've seen from bowlers like, say, Sean Sears, who's actually made it here. That was the Western Massachusetts bowler. He's made it all the way here. And, excuse me, would you like to see the shot again? I think I would, too. 3-2. He made the mirror image to 2-4-7 in the 6-10, and now a 3-6-10 with the 4-7. Pattern his delivery, pattern his demeanor, and it shows. 5 marks to 5 in that last pair of boxes as Metro holds a slight lead, 10 pins plus 3 hits to 2, as you see by the yellow numbers and the Canadian smudges on the scoreboard there. As we switch it around to Al Kessick and John Zappi, even Stevens on 181 through 16 boxes. Thus 21 over par. If you assume par 10 and you want to be above that, turn pattern on a Canadian show whose name keeps escaping me. I don't think it was the one at Beasley Lanes. I think it was another, or maybe it was on numerous. Kessick nearly spilled another strikeout there. Remember the last one where he tipped the 2-pin out. Outpost lead for Zappi, as I call this one, the post in Paul Grant's parlance. We commentators have some pet names for some of these leaves. Ball deflects into the 10. There it is. There's the 3-pin for Kessick for the spare. And that's exactly it, Caroline. I think the enjoyment, if anything, I would say the enjoyment leads to better scores, and you always have to keep it relative to your average as well, because nobody is going to waltz in here and make a 120 average. This game humbles absolutely anyone, and I think, I'm sorry to do this to one of our great fans, but actually my father-in-law, Carl, also retiring incidentally, came down here to spare time recreation in Whitensville, thought it was going to be a simple time. We even said, oh, it's a fast house, it's great. But, you know, he learned quickly that, you know, he had a dynamic delivery. I'm not sure who he patterned it after. I think it's a delivery that, you know, if he lived not in Virginia but closer to here, he could probably develop into something. But he learns quickly that small little marble in your hands doesn't go right where you want it to go. Zappi gets another 7-pin here. He's, I believe, 2 for 3 on those, including one where he hit the simultaneous shot with the wood. So it's one of those games that's much easier than it looks, and I'm refining my skills of dealing with those trolls who are just like, okay, so when are you going to learn how to bowl with a real bowling ball? Because it's annoying, because it's like, I know, yes, of course, a kid can throw the ball easier. It is a ball that's easier for kids, but that does not make this the kids' game. You learn very quickly that it has its own challenges, even though, of course, I wouldn't go quite to the extreme of saying 10-pin isn't. It's hot. It's easier to score in that game, perhaps, and I know Justin Waters took Sean Taylor and another bowler whose name escapes me, and Waters actually got a 200 in one of his 10-pin games over in Vegas. Sean Taylor was throwing it just like Osku Palermo. Dagostino, 6-fill here and a tough split again for Hingham. And a half Worcester for Freshie, who's slowing down a bit after his blockbuster 147. Still, the oil pattern and the ball technology, it does create an interesting strategic development of getting ahead of oil pattern breakdowns, and it is interesting, especially after they made the oil visible on screen, either red or blue. But I do like, the reason I like the purity of Candlepin bowling is that it really doesn't rely on artificial elements like ball cores. It really relies on the pins. And the fact that you have theoretically infinitely many spare leaves here, that should be 10, thank you. Freshie gains 2. That to me is a purer game. And also the fact that there are no strings attached as well, which frankly I think is a catchphrase we should run with. Maybe we'll run with it here, who knows. A Canadian center once tried to put the pins on strings, but they didn't get terribly far with that. There was a lot of tangles, and thankfully Bowlemore was still a company at the time, and they reverted back to those pin settings. Of course, the company is since out of business. Bankrupt is the word I've heard. I have not independently confirmed this. Boy, that 8-pin's wiggling. It doesn't go there. But I will tell you one thing. It's nice to have the bridge between the Candlepin and the 10-pin world really easing up. Historically, there was a lot of pushing it out, of course. And the efforts to flood the New England market with 10-pin was noteworthy, even though it did not ultimately succeed. But nowadays, the attitude has shifted significantly. And obviously the most significant thing is that the new PBA video game on consoles, on consoles and on PC as well, includes a Candlepin mode, which was alpha tested by my fellow commentators Steve Kelly and Micah Imperato, among others as well, to really make the physics more sane. Sometimes weird things happen in the game, but still, the PBA went through the effort of coding in a very realistic things. And Rob Stone and Randy Peterson with great commentary and, you know, commentary that's cognizant of the flow of the game. You know, how the importance of the 10 box most of all. So it was custom commentary for Candlepin. So between that and PBA showing the youth bowlers involved, and they were going into Big 20 Scarborough, Maine, of course, it's really nice to see Candlepin making its way into the world. And even though we still have comments discovering this for the first time, is it just me or did the ball shrink? That comment I mind a lot less. It's clearly becoming more known, and it's just tough that there's no pin setting solutions out there. That's the big reason why Candlepin currently cannot grow, even though, of course, it can relocate, such as Worcester, Mass getting its pins back with the American Flatbread Company. The lanes are not regulation. They used Lita's lighthouse lanes, which are shorter than 60 feet, so competitions cannot be held there. But in every other respect, basically, it's really an authentic experience, including the trappings on the wall. You know, they have another location in Brighton, Massachusetts, where delightfully a tasting flight is served in candlepins that have a flattened edge, so otherwise it'd be a silly little thing to hold it, and 4 hollowed out holes for your drinks. So if you can responsibly, I would absolutely go there and give that a try. 410 and 8. Maybe that's true of Worcester as well, but I have not been to the location myself. In Brighton also, you can watch the pin setters operate as well. Ball deflecting off the 10-pin for St. Cyr, and both are getting split-bugged here. 16 pins as the match is stabilized more or less. 9 box. And a 9 for St. Cyr, one way around or another. Those pin sweeps are really terrifying. If there was a new pin setting technology, hopefully it'd be a slightly safer one, quite frankly. Insurance companies are very specific. You must be a trained person to go back there, for example. And just confirming the scores real quick. Yes, it is confirmed, 427 to 411. And those things are terrifying, especially the so-called Model E pin sweepers, which are the ones we see here at Ryan's that really whip down there. That thing can concuss you if you're not careful. Winchell strikes on spare. 20 bucks for him, and Hingham needed that. And Beaupre's fill is 4 on the head pin, and that's a double mark swing, basically. So Beaupre, who's completely accurate on the head pin, not getting the love here. Less into more is the idea here. Left it into the curtain, and Beaupre has made leaps and bounds, of course. I try not to harp on this because it's a little embarrassing to make such ado about mental health, even though it's like, you know, a mental state of being, I should say, you know. But he's made leaps and bounds in his attitude and how he takes these tough breaks here. And a 7 box, 14 and a 7, of course. Beaupre knows he hit his 3 object pins, and he's more content with that. He's content in his abilities, even though obviously it's not the result he wants. Now Winchell gets the eagle, and you see he can go right back around as Beaupre gets a spare leaf with triangle number 3. Now Winchell needs something more on the second ball. Well said, Kevin Burns. Kevin Burns, this Candlepin King. Does this go? Whoa, boy! Winchell darn near made the spread eagle. That would have been bonus money from Candlepin Bowling Network had he done it. 4 spare without wood. As is, he upgrades his strike fill to 9. Hingham now has the lead in this string. An important ball there. Beaupre's same 10 keeps it 2 pins. 450 to 448. We have ourselves a string lead change, and now still with 12 boxes to go and marks to fill. Hingham can make some progress here, even if they just get 20 or something like that. I mean, every mark they can gain is up to 10, but still. Marks in the match overall are 40 to 29 for Metro Bowl, as you can imagine. Metro Bowl has also left 17 fewer pins standing, but again, consider the awful split luck Hingham has had. That's part of the reason, because we all see how splits really require you to throw 2 more good balls after you already did throw 1. Splits are 36 to 22 for Hingham. 2-pinner. Holbrook wayward on this one. Fontaine, he's been lighting it up all day, but this time misses the head pin twice. Still, though, good news for Metro Bowl to have the match just stay the way it is. They don't want any more volatility at this point. Holbrook has been extremely accurate on this head pin, but has been suffering the same split luck, even though Metro Bowl has 9 splits in the past 14 boxes. So now suddenly Metro Bowl, the lanes are turning on them. Checkmark left side for Holbrook as his ball ambles through the 1 and 2. Fontaine down the middle, spread eagle. You can't juice the curtain. Craig just to the left side of the 3-pin. I'm Greg. I always have to do a double take whenever Mr. Holbrook's name gets called out. Fontaine, a lot of these quality 10s on the spread eagle. By that I mean some call it pro 10s as well, 3 object pins. 9 and 9. Does the Metro team go to the same Barber? Maybe they go to see the same Jim Barber. He's still there. If the world were just, it'd be a Lucky Strike Lanes and Lynn, of course. The team that Nick Zuffalato used to bowl as part of in men's worlds. 472 to 469 is confirmed. Even though I know that was not your question, but couldn't resist. Jim Barber, of course, Hall of Famer and father of Dave Barber, captain of Exeter Lanes, and vice president, soon to become president of the Friday Night Pro League. That's an alternation thing, not just because Zappi is retiring from Friday night action after this. He still has a league. He still wants to bowl at Abington, Mass, for example. But Friday night, he's done this for a couple decades. He's all set with that. Kessick gets his spare. Zappi 5 on his. Doesn't quite make it to the head pin. Like I mentioned, Zappi good at keeping the records. Has to in order to get his Hall of Fame nomination. He and the others helped out with that. You have to get the paperwork and submit it to the ICBA as well to be formally acknowledged. He is a nominee now, to be decided by a committee that includes Paul Grant, so I especially fancy his chances. Not that this is a fixed process in any way. The merit of his bowling is obvious. The ICBA will decide. 3 more for Al Kessick. President of the ICBA is Ralph Sem, the men's co-world record holder with Chris Sargent on 245. Not a soul has 300, and probably no one will. Ralph, of course, posed side by side with Jenny Rowe on the day she did it on September 2024 with 210. Of note, Shelley Carr claims a 214 done at Metro West Alley, I believe it's called, in Framingham, Massachusetts, once upon a time. But the lanes were not officially certified, and thus it is not an official record. Just like Aaron Fontaine has a 236 that, had it been a record, would not have counted because it was bowled not in official conditions. Not enough people on a lane. You have to have at least 2 on a lane. That's the ICBA stated condition for that. And then also was done, albeit for money, against why can I not remember it? Luke, what's Gregory? Forgot the name, but it was against one other person and not in, say, an official league match. Also has to be advertised in advance as well, so there's a lot of constraints on that. Dagostino, 7-pin. Single digit. Kevin, that question is giving the same energy. What color Candlepins for Cancer shirt is Paul Grant watching? That's giving the same energy as, what are you wearing, Jake from State Farm? And he is wearing a red shirt, incidentally. Now you know. We'll probably see him for a post-game interview, but that'll be later on. This is round 1 of the playoffs in this 18 knockout bracket. Just wide as Dagostino. It'll be reseeded for the second round, and then we'll go over to 15-16 when that's set. As is, we look to be the last match along by looks of things. Sam picks this up for the spare, or for the 10, excuse me. Two pins picked up. Did anyone nominate Phil Clough? That's in the works as well. A lot of people think he's deserving as well. I am not sure of the exact status of his nomination. Just a lot of people. Actually, he may be a nominee. At the very least, it is being heavily considered. Western Massachusetts, great. We've seen him on Candlepins for Cancer fundraiser recently. Rollaway Lanes where? Mentioned earlier. high flying. We'll be doing a 9-pin handicap tournament there. It'll be handicap based on scratch, as I understand, so it'll be interesting to see how well that maps over to a 9-pin format, but giving folks a little bit of a help there. Sam not happy with that. Kevin, don't forget the black shirt, of course. There's a 9-pin box, I suppose you'll say. Same for Dagostino. If it were 9-pin, it'd be 10. Dagostino 117 makes 217, and Zuffalato 100 to go with 147 for a nice average there. St. Cyr and Jones. So yeah, split percentages, it's over 50% for Hingham, which again, you would think in a so-called fast house would not happen, but the lanes have not been kind to their ball. Head pin accuracy 64-60 for Metro. It's not really the gap. It's not really the difference here. Unlike, say, in... Whoop. Ah, you're good, bud. You're not wrong, but you're good. Two-pinner for Jones. If I'm seeing correctly, I believe Joe Tavernese is here, treasurer of the Friday Night Pro League as well. He does not bowl in the league present day, but yes, that Joe Tavernese from Channel 5. He's here as well. Got to give out that end-of-year prize money available on the spreadsheet if you pull it down. You see the bulk of the prize money is for winning the league. That's Central Park Lane's Team 3, even though there are only two Central teams. Central 3, a championship grade name. They've kept it. A lot of overlap with that Academy Lanes World team, of which Fontaine is a part. Jones, great hit there. All calls him the silent assassin, and with those 4 marks, of course, bolstered himself into the 120s. And with a chance of the 130s if he runs this down. St. Cyr, this is gettable here. He's had a few bounce back spares, and he's got a 3 now, those. 3 spares. It's noticeable, me at the very least, that he's had that many. But the way he curves his ball in. Jones has had a couple of those as well. Now he has a 9-box, 1, 2, 3 for 2, 4, 3. St. Cyr could overtake that with this fill. What about Gary Carrington? Oh yes, that's in the process as well. Tony Marie Baldinelli is spearheading that process. Absolutely, that's a long overdue inclusion, again, many consider. And the paperwork is overway for him to take his place in the ICBA Hall of Fame. St. Cyr almost equalizes with the 4 fill here. 102-242, so the 140s from Metro really making the big difference here. Jones very consistent with that 243. Can anyone from Hingham really have one of those explosive strings? Hingham's high single is 647. It is one of the least, so they really pride themselves on their consistency, so it would have to come up now. Could that explosiveness be waiting for the playoffs? Or is this indeed the Metro coronation this seems to be heading for? Hard to say, hard to know for sure, but very easy to make a judgment based on likelihood. Still though, 5-pinner here for Winchell. Takes aim here, gets on there in the sidewall, takes out the 9. Winchell having a great string here, so he's got the chance for over 130 in this string now. Beaupre an 8-box, so a couple pins gained for Hingham now. They now again have the virtual lead in the string. Beaupre head pin, down goes the 2, down goes the 4, down goes the 7, and the 8-pin there with a thickly settled amount of wood. Winchell, 5-pin down, and the drop is 9. And now a good chance for 140s. Boudreau could hit 120s with this, but the wood is treacherous. He goes for the left side wood and does not get it. He landed on the tip, I believe. Had he hit the broadside, he might have had it. That's a harsh thing to say because it wasn't that far off, but that was probably the aim. Winchell has covered his single. Boudreau, and you see the problem with that wood up front. It just wasn't going to go, so too likely to deflect the ball. He ends up 113 and 239. Winchell the chance to overtake here. Over a 120 average. Excellent showing here in the playoffs. The 140s of Metro proving decisive. Crossover leaves the king, and he's got a 5-pin drop for a gross 144. 251. Craig Holbrook below his season average at the current moment. Still very much enjoys the game, enjoys that recent Mixed Worlds title he had with his namesake team, Holbrook Coca-Cola. Fontaine a 3-pin drop here, so now a dozen pins up for Hingham. Again, a couple marks here. It could be a 20-pin lead, and then we're starting to think about a gettable match, if still a distant target to aim for. Trouble is, the 7-10's not too much better. Fontaine, a great bid on this one, but no 10-pin. 7-10. Holbrook is not pleased with this wood. You see how deep it is. He's giving his hand thrown up like he's got cut off in traffic, which is, as we all know, the universal Massachusetts hand signal. Palm upwards. What are you doing? You're trying to bank it off the sidewall. You have to think he almost has to make the 7-10 clean. I've yet to see it on one of my streams. Many bowlers will claim to do it only once, if ever. Literally, the only fathomable thing that Holbrook has not done in his career is a 200 high single. That's basically it. And as Mike Morin mentions in his book, Lunch with Tommy and Stacia, he takes solace in the fact that Gary Duffett got his very late in life, about the same age. So, never say never. Maybe then he'll retire. He drops 9 on this one, giving him another chance to grow this lead, but Fontaine has a good leave of his own. One should take 2, you'd think. Careful about getting deflected on the wood. He did get deflected by the wood, and he's missed this one. That's the problem with that. The ball weighs less than the pin, and the ball went sideways, and his attempt went sideways. Holbrook spares the captain, not stymie him. Fontaine very happy to have that 132, even though you see the disappointment there, but this is what I'm talking about. You hit the wood first. It's the subtlest miss in the game. Ball goes sideways, and unfortunately, that's that. And it's very easy to think that Fontaine was likely aiming for the object pin. It's hard to gauge intent, but especially a bowler like him, you have to think he knew where the spot was and just simply missed it. Like many of the other misses that are frequent and commonplace. Mundane, routine. 104 for Holbrook, 224. About bang on his average now at this point. So we see a 589 to 571 as we plunge into string 3 of 3. So that would have been a string victory for Hingham in the regular season, but as it is, 18 pins, chips away, 64 pins. And now Metro just has to hold on here. You have to consider each bowler on average for Hingham has to gain 2 more marks than the other in order to have a chance back into this. Otherwise, I'm afraid we'll see Team Metro, the number 3 seed in this single elimination knockout bracket, advance. You see Zappi and Kessick basically tied here. Winchell is the only bowler who is ahead of his counterpart at the moment by 12 pins. All of Kessick, Zuffalato, St. Cyr, and Fontaine ahead of their same bowler in the lineup. That's one way to compare it. The lineups are, of course, based on captain's whim in the end. Nick Zuffalato captain and John Zappi here for their respective sides. At one point, Freshie randomized his lineups. He's stopped doing this since. favoring routine. But a few years ago, prior, he did this, but it went the way of the towel. Not many bowlers I see integrate a towel so closely into their routine. Zappi gets this 10 box. One other that pops into mind is another bowler like Zappi from that Comcast show, John Irby Cafalis, who has a towel tucked into his pocket or person, one or the other. It's always by the side of his pants. Zappi here. Team Hingham out of South Shore Country Club used to bowl out of Union Street lanes in Holbrook, Massachusetts. Yes, Craig is very aware of how punny that is. A center that suddenly had a padlock thrown on it, but bits and pieces have been made useful to Webster Timber Lanes Abington just down the road, which Zappi bowls out of. So it's not as though the spirit of Union Street lanes doesn't live on. It's actually the match we filmed out of there that was one of our most viewed matches. That was just me on the call in that one. 5 pins splashed out by Kessick. Not splashed, he got his head pin, but leaves the 5. Another match will begin. We seem to be the last match along, if I'm looking correctly here, so we'll likely be plunging right into this as soon as this match concludes. No marks to the first pair of boxes, so 2 down, 48 to go for Hingham to make their run back into this. Just 1 pin the gain here. Dagostino, again, we've seen his explosiveness recently. Has a 400 already this season. Head pin here of 4 and 8. John Winchell is the only other bowler with a 400, 405. Metro Bowl by contrast is 9 400s, 4 by Fontaine, 5 by Beaupre. Dagostino, the 2-pinner, he spares. So does Hingham suddenly have one of those X factors come into play here? Rushing on 247, eagle try, clips 1 wing. Jeff Surette had 5 400s this year. Justin Waters had 5 400s this year. Dave Godwin and Dimitri Dellis lead the league with 6 each. Dimitri Dellis, another Candlepins for Cancer champion. You can see his power. Dagostino with the 1 mark. Chance to start immediately growing a Hingham lead here. Here's try. Into the line. 7-pin drop. Not a good leave, but he got his count. 5-7-10. You see how just elated, he's so thrilled. He's so happy to have this lead, isn't he? This 3-1 is more gettable for Zuffalato. You're not allowed to have Fontaine shoot it. This isn't Texas 9-pin. You can't just throw everyone up willy-nilly, Mr. Captain, but there you go. Dagostino may have been aiming more for the side of the object pin. Precious try, almost got the pocket. That was a much better shot than the pins would have you believe, as is no mark. Sam needs a pin or 2 here. This is tenable on the opposite lane. Gets 1, 25 for the pair is a great start. Actually just wide, so an equal box. Again, that's fine for Metro in the short term. Jones and Saints here, both with 120 averages. Both can be very happy with the performance here. Even if we've seen that the 140s have really been stealing the show, Jones, of course, showing Hingham's consistency, getting those 120s. Sabres the champagne bottle, though, and he gets 3 out. You know, like with a little It's a bartender trick. You get the little, just shave the cork off that way. No, just me? Sorry, my wife took a class in bartending. She would know this. 4 horsemen, but really acts more like 2 maybe. It's possible the wood misses the 10. Let's see. St. Cyr bounces it into the line. He's got it. Yes. It is wired quite well, and Metro gets the mark back. Jones needs pins. He's got 6. Getting choppy to start here. Oop, redundant 6. Tisk, tisk, Gregory, you write a dash on the first one. I used to write X10 on the first line in the very early days when I started bowling, but that is also redundant. X is the Roman numeral 10. 5 and 7. Great to see you all here. 143 of you watching live on this stream, and others of you watching the Paul Grant stream over on 19 and 20, so probably a lot more as well. On top of that, St. Cyr does not get the count he wanted here. Now needs pins. Takes out 1 line of pins here, so Jones could gain despite not having the mark here. Not happy to have that 6 box, of course, but could still take the lead right back. He grabs a 9, maybe not the pin he was aiming for, but he got it all the same. St. Cyr into the diagonal, nice out, same 9. So the string remains tied. Down to 44 boxes, seemingly the countdown for Metro Bowl at the moment. John Winchell took 8 boxes without marking, but now has 8 marks in the last 12. His pace has been excellent. Does he keep it going in string 3? Just light into the head pin. Thanks for nothing, pins. Boudreau, 6 pin is down for a strike. Metro gets another one. And Leo's Metro Bowl in Peabody, Mass. Looking better and better now. Blanks there, drills it for a Canadian 5-pin strike, but in this game it leaves the 10 standing. Another split here. About the same amount of pins left standing on each side, 36 and 35 in that second string. Metro only left 1 fewer pin standing. 1 less. Basically even on mark, 17 to 18 in that last string, which explains the tight margins there. Head pin accuracy now within 1, in fact. In fact, Hingham actually has more head pins. Now the same number. Boudreau gets his head pin again, but cannot double the strike. 4, 7, 8, and 10. 6 7s aside. Winchell gets his head pin. Nice ball deflection. Rang the head pin around the 2-4 with that thin hit. It's really the best he could do with his right to left ball, frankly. He would have had to really rely on a domino rally with the 4 horsemen in order to get that all to go. This is Ryan Family Amusements, Millis, Massachusetts. I'm Greg Gouillart, and this is Candlepin Bowling Network. Watching playoff coverage here from the Friday Night Pro League, therefore Saturday morning. This will determine the playoffs champion, Central 3 already the regular season champion. Who will win this distinct major title? You see our lanes in action right now, but birthday parties we're open for birthday parties here in Millis, Mass. Come on over if you want to see the pros and then go bowling yourself. We'll be crunching lanes as well, so. If you're in the Millis, Massachusetts area, feel free to stop on by. Craig Holbrook, a 2-1 split. Fontaine, 1-3 and not the 7. Rolling wood with that sidewall action we've seen so many times already. 1 pin does not take the other 2. Less into more, of course, the idea. If Holbrook could have dreamed his perfect shot, maybe he'd get on the right side of the object. Fontaine rips the object front. 2 full. So a 9 for Holbrook as Hingham already has more splits than quality leaves on the head pin. And it's having an effect here. There was only one decent opportunity, and Dagostino made that single pin. Two-pinner, I believe that was. Into the head pin, down goes the 5. Holbrook gets a leave here as well. Luck turning a little bit here, Fontaine, yikes. A 3-3 split, now 3-1-1 with this wood in front. The sick man he is, I think he almost wants that front wood to be gone. Holbrook. Hey, that's a perfectly good shot. You do not have to hit them hard. This isn't Pasabolo Tablon or whatever that Spanish game is where you are supposed to launch the pins like javelins. Fontaine, front wood, spins right back, needs it out. 2 good hits, needs it out. My favorite thing about that Spanish variant of bowling is that they're just allowed to go over the foul line after they've released the ball, and they can just keep going. Kind of like lawn bowls in the UK. Once your foot just has to hover over the mat, and then you can keep going. So there you go. 2 marks to 2, but of course, if Holbrook fills this mark well, Hingham should actually have a lead in this string. So 2 boxes down. They might have gained 1 mark. But being the 68 down, they're going to need to gain these marks at a quicker pace. They're running out of time, but they have time. Kasich, head pin, down goes the 4. 2 and 5. Leadoff bowler is slightly off target on the head pin. Kasich was 75% accurate on the head pin in the first 2 strings, though, so there's that. There's the 2-pinner, down goes the 5. It wilted. So another slow pin to cooperate. But just like Holbrook's gradual toppler on that single pin, Kasich, the Iceman, gets it. Oh, Zappi swiveled wood behind the 9, or the 6 that is, excuse me, and just misses a split spare. Gets his 10 box there. Can you hear Paul on my stream? 210 went, 7 didn't on Pondy's bit over yonder. Meanwhile, in this match, Kasich, the 4 horsemen left side. Terry-Ann, I didn't say hi to you. Hello. Fiance of Kevin Burns. Nice to see you. Zappi. 8-10. Maybe the wood is negotiable. Kasich spares. 16 and another. Keith Beaupre's fiance alongside me like the looks of that. No time to show you the pin cam on that. This could go across. Whoa, it jumped right over, actually. The front wood tripped the ball and really didn't get that piece of wood alongside the 8 to really move. Zappi, no luck here. Gets the 10. And now Kasich with those 2 marks pulls Metro into the lead in this string. No points, just total pinfall. 3 strings, that's all. 1 versus 8, that's Central 3 versus Millis. Indeed, the designated home team in this rotating list of venues for the Friday Night Pro League playoffs. 2 versus 7, Exeter versus Central 1, 3-6 here, Metro Hingham, and 4-5 Academy 2 and Shooters Pub. There's the head pin. I believe the high seed gets lane choice. That's a usual accommodation for the higher seed. It's certainly the case in the Pro Series. Otherwise, home team captains decide which lanes they start on, and most will keep a routine. I believe Academy 3 switched this partway through. So sometimes, especially in the ball-for-ball norm of the league, knowing whether you finish on one lane or the other, every now and again offers a tactical advantage. One change I would like to see is for the bowlers to go reset. Instead of going reset for reset, just hit the button as soon as they're done. I've been doing some cocktail napkin level math, frankly, and it hasn't been there, but I think if you hit the button, so for example, Dagostino, his pins are ready, but now he has to wait for Freshie, whereas if Freshie, or whoever is the right-hand bowler, I'm just using him as an example, now he has to wait for the delivery, and he starts a few seconds later on his lane, whereas if the pins are already reset on the right-hand lane, it would move just a few seconds quicker, and then the boxes would move that much quicker. And don't worry about me, I could get my replays in edgewise for you folks as well. But there we go. Eric Thorstensen, nice to see you. Yes, we are still in round one right now. You see the 3 versus 6 matchup on your screen right now, as Metro Bowl looking good to advance on, reseeded in the next round. 2 pinners good for Freshie, and he spares in the 4th to join Kessick on the bench with a mark. Dagostino not nearly finding that same explosive ball he had earlier. It was a late season inclusion partway through for Hingham, which has a lot of overlap with the Maria Subs men's worlds team. Dagostino's average 115. Unfortunately, just 217 through the first 2. Millis is not being terribly kind to him. Jones and St. Cyr. St. Cyr losing the range of the head pin. On a head pin drought of 5 boxes dating back to the last string. Jones a split 2-1, which is his 11th split today. Could start counting this up for the other bowlers. You could see a trend emerging. 11 splits for Zappi. 8 for Dagostino. Just 5 for Winchell. Whoa, that 9 was hit though. Tell you what. It's going to gain at least 1 pin all told. 3 neighborhood balls will get an 8 box here. And Hingham will gain 2 in the process with that Pro 10 by Jones. And for completeness sake, Holbrook has 10 splits by my count. Fontaine has 8 splits, but that hasn't made a big difference for him. It is possible to make these. St. Cyr, yes, tips the 7. That's a strike. Jones of the 1-9-10. Wood may settle for him here, but Aaron St. Cyr finds the head pin in a big way. 14 Metro Bowl. It's Tim Douglas you see over yonder on lane 15. We'll be turning the cameras to those lanes in a moment. Jones, nice shot spare. Matching mark, stabilizing a bit for Hingham. And St. Cyr goes to the chair on a mark. So 3 of those for Metro now. See if Boudreau can go along here. He had his last mark in the first, of course. We expect strikes from Boudreau, of course, with the power he throws. He does have 3, so that's about on pace. Now his head pin. Thin on it this time, though, and he's got, Bob Lee calls this one the lambda, I suppose, like the Greek letter, to the Delis's delight. 9-pin drop for Winchell. I guess if you view it overhead, it's the, if you look at it from the other angle, I suppose. Wide on the object pin and a chance for Hingham now. They trail by about a dozen or so, but Winchell's been increasingly strong today. And the cap drives this straight back for the spare. Marking at a slower pace than he's been used to in this past dozen boxes or so, and dozen boxes prior. Did Boudreau just make the 8-7? Did I see what I... Bro made the 8-7. I can't believe it. Look at this. It's the greatest 8-box of all time. There's a head pin and the 4th? He's either saying no or he's emulating the pin, one or the other. Winchell's try, 5, 6, and 10. He's got a spare fill of 7. You can only field 5 men here. Nate Lee's looking on here. It is possible, in case of injury, of course, to have the 6th person in, but generally, these lineups are locked in throughout the playoffs. Boudreau, the single pin. Winchell trying to play less into more, which that's Corey Smith's notion with the setback, the term his friend Ryan penned. And he says, play less into more. Don't play that piece of wood, which, as I always say, never does anyone any good any time. Perfect 4 boxes for Winchell. That's 3 10s and a spare. By perfect game, we mean all 10 spares or strikes. If you're expecting a 300, please let us know how cryogenic freezing works. We'd all be especially grateful. In what universe do you get a 300 in this? Colby D'Antonis took duck pin perfection through the front 9 strikes, but nobody's gotten the dozen there, and he didn't break Pete Signori Jr.'s 279 record in that. So they're still waiting as well. Quebecois duck pin, of course, gets 300s often enough, because the pins just clatter in a heap. Holbrook the half Worcester. Fontaine ripping out the object pin. He's done that a couple of times. So not the count Hingham want. They lead by 1 pin on the scoreboard, but of course, Metro with a flurry of marks. Possibly all of them, unless Aaron Fontaine is, to use the gruesome old word, hanged in the 5th. As the 5th man in the 4th box by not getting a mark where everyone else did. Just on the places where a CompuScore is used, you got the hangman icon for anyone who misses out on a mark. A crown if you were the only one to mark in a frame. Holbrook picks up 2 pins. A star above a frame if everyone marked, and a pitchfork if nobody marked. Which is a symbol I sometimes see on Central Park Lane's score sheets, even though that's all still pen and paper. Much like Exeter. Much like Hingham. Metro Bowl's a CompuScore house. They'll know what I mean. 5 pins here. Holbrook into this 2-pin here. So really the story of this match, even though now they're starting to lose the range of the head pin, but still 4 of their 5 last head pin hits, Hingham has have been splits, and then Fontaine backdoors a spare on sheer power alone. It's still a game of accuracy, but I tell you what, the man does not miss. The box is 6, unfortunately, despite his efforts. We take another look here before we go to a score update. And there we go. He's going to backdoor this one into the 2-pin. Boing, boing, see ya. To the amusement of another spectator watching alongside. So he does get it, and we can hang a star in the 4th frame for Metro, who leads by 1 pin, but all those hits 5-1 as well. Rollaway Lane's Ware does have that CompuScore as well. That's right. Right, Caroline. Eric asks, would this match be the final retirement match for the Zappi Retirement Tour? Yeah, we have been following him a lot. Well, one chapter closes, another begins, right? But it does seem that way, that this may be Zappi's last few balls in the Friday Night Pro League. Absolutely no regrets on his side of retiring. He is given a lot of time bowling and being president of the league, and it's a decision he's absolutely satisfied with. Even if there's a twinge of sadness in saying that. He's earned his right to ride off into the sunset and be forever in the history of Candlepin bowling. He gets a 10 box here, his third straight. Keswick is going to get stuck with a 5, and Mr. President picks up 5. Of course, Dave Barber will take the reins as president because the rules of the league say president and vice president alternate. Not sure who the next president will be. I've heard a name thrown out, but I have no confirmation on whatsoever, so I won't speculate. But there you go, and of course it would leave the captaincy open for Hingham. Obviously, you would think Craig Holbrook would be a natural choice. He has captaincy experience from his mixed worlds team. 9-pin drop for Zappi. And a chance to pick another one up here as Keswick has to crack open the 6-pack here. 2 marks, but back to 51 at the half. Still, though, that's a gainer opposite his opponent. John spares. 57 and a ball. John with an H, I hasten to clarify. Al gets rid of 4 pins here, so again, a third ball required here. Otherwise, in danger of losing a mark. It's worth of pins as well. Even that 9 box, it's a 6-pin gain, so really Zappi has gained 2 marks even though he only made 1. You consider average spare fill about 6. Now over to Zuffalato and Dagostino. Spare working for Freshie. Of course, that's true for everyone coming up now for Metro. But of course, Keswick only got 2 on his. Metro has the lead in the string, but it has shrunk. Dagostino found his head pin, thought he got more than that, but a somewhat foolish hit. Ends up with a check mark. Freshie's curled it in. And aha, it's the funny number. It's the 6-7. Hey kids, check it out. We're cool. We're hip with the new generation. This is not the new generation. That show should come back. This wood will not come back for Dagostino. I'll tell you, the 6-7 does go with some regularity, even clean. Boudreau made this clean. Actually wasn't that far off it. Even though with the curvature of his ball, it'd be really difficult to get across. Score at 9, a 50 half for Dagostino. No apostrophe in Dagostino. I've made that mistake. Still need to clean up my Easter records, which I've corroborated from multiple sources, including John Zappi's binder, which he's gotten from Dottie Lawrook, the Easter Classics very faithful stats taker. An undertaking that I've not seen with as much vigor until I saw Micah Imperato and all he's done for stat taking in the ACST. And then Dave Barber's spreadsheet, I also must acknowledge, which is the thing I need to fix the spelling of Dagostino in, I confess, with all of those statistics as well. It's allowed me to give you those when we cover that tournament, which again, should be someday soon. If you haven't seen Lido Lanes' newest post on their Facebook page, please do check it out. A heartfelt letter and a lot more room for optimism, which they've had a plan for a while. They just need the funding, and they have the belief now that they will get back to that day. No marks either side. Metro maintains the advantage. Dagostino luckless on the head pin. It's a 7 box. Zuffalato, there's an argument the safe shot is to the left side, especially with the lead they have. He'll go aggressive, though. Gets his head pin, gets 9. High triples, I haven't gone over that yet. Chris Boisvert, 467, which is ridiculous. Justin Scally, 439. Jonathan Boudreau, 436. Josh Daly, 434, and Jeff Surette, 431, the top 5. 467 is just ludicrous. Of course, Pete Crawford Jr.'s 227, the house record here at Ryan's Millis, was done at the Friday Night Pro League the season before last, if I recall correctly, for Academy 3 when he bowled with them. Pins crumbling for Jones. That's good news for South Shore. Got a 2-pin here. To the North Shore we go, and Aaron St. Cyr. No one's doubled yet, just saying. Got his head pin. Still they mix. No, not quite. Your boy tried to manifest it, but it not to be. Jones, 19 and another. Back-to-back marks, a couple of unresponded marks now for Hingham, unless this goes 2, but the wood twirled away for St. Cyr, and the strike fill is 9. So a couple of gainers here, and they gained, of course, by getting that 9 fill on the spare. That's more than expected. Still, it's a 9. Just an example. I only show the misses if they're instructive here. Gets over to the red line, and you see it spun the wood anti-clockwise, and then the ball went straight back. Jones. Ooh, that 2-pin will count on the spare, but worsen the leave. Still could gain pins, depending. As St. Cyr gets the half Worcester left. .259, 257, that's confirmed. Metro nursing the advantage here. Still, they hold the lead in the string slightly. Hingham has been... Just we still wait to see, does Hingham have that explosive gear? They're a team that's stable, and that's what gets them into the playoffs. To prevail, they will need to find that higher gear. And so far, we've seen the 140s from some. And we've seen Aaron Fontaine make ludicrous shots time after time. An obvious elite addition to Metro after Aaron Fontaine substituted for Exeter lanes and was instrumental in their success. So clearly, for the Pro Series Bowler of the Year, you can see how it is possible, even against the fussiest pins in bowling, to prevail. Jones picked up 3 pins in that last box. Now it's an arguable tie here. Metro has a case for saying they're in the lead right now with that extra hit to overturn what is currently a 5-pin advantage for Hingham. Winchell had been solid, drops this one. 6 pins down. Beaupre on a spare on the head pin, but 5. Two, 4, 7, 6, 10. Here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Paul Grant live on the other lanes, 19 and 20. Winchell back on it for the spare, 2 marks and 3. Winchell not solid, excuse me, what am I saying? Beaupre a fine shot, but no mark. 6-10. And there's the 10. And John Zappi said it best, to your point, Dave's channel. He said it best. There's no such thing as an easy match, especially when we feature, Academy 3 versus Central 3, which is literally a 1 versus 12 matchup. Even there, that was 6-2. Yes, Central 3 prevailed, but anything can still happen. Winchell takes 5. So 5 more pins. That battle back is there. Metro knows that as well. Part of their success is not taking this for granted as well. That's going to be deadwood for Beaupre. For the first time, we'll have a deadwood chase. And he'll have to shoot at that 7-8 with just that backwood being the only factor here. You have to disable the scorers in a very unusual way. Jeremy Seaholm himself, but Nuka's manager, taught me this. When you have to hit the lanes, and then there's actually a secret code, DW. I believe you have to... Yeah, you hit the left lane button, then you hit DW for deadwood, and then, and only then, can someone chase it without tripping the automatic scorer. So there we go. I'll tell you one thing. For those who are new, by the way, there's a line painted a couple feet in front of the head pin, and if it touches or goes beyond the line, it has to be removed. One thing I will probably never agree to do is chase a ball on the plate. The deadwood line is there for a reason, and that is to ensure that nobody is reaching back into the machine. And again, that pin sweep is a freaking concussion risk, especially since, even though the button operates it, it can trigger without warning. And sometimes on very, very rare occasions, these Model E pin setters can have the table cycle by accident by tripping a little relay. Sometimes I've seen a ball kick around back there, and like the button in Wii 100-pin bowling, that little special mode they have, it just suddenly sets off the table. So chasing a ball on the plate is one of those things I'm frankly terrified to do. But a deadwood chase, the line is there. And even though the ICBA rule is technically bowlers are not allowed to pass the foul line under any circumstances, this obviously is routinely made as a circumstance. Holbrook tips a pin. Hingham trying to get back into this, but Fontaine just threw a 20 box. And isn't that just the way? You got the momentum, you got the momentum. Up. Fontaine throws a 20. Holbrook does not make the single pin, unfortunately. You saw those red exclamation points throw up after I was covering that Joey Lister double strike. It got mangled on the scoring after we were all gobsmacked by his double strike to take that event at Wakefield Bowldrome. I realized I needed to make a change there, so that's what that is. It's just a little checksum to make sure I didn't forget one of those little numbers, because we all know those triangles mean add 10 implicitly. Now, there's an interesting thought I've had here. What if we made it more mainstream acceptance? Like, the way you see the scoring on the sides, this is how it's been done in New England for years, of course. Canada, of course, with their own notation, although identical scoring. Holbrook, yes, might have gotten deflected by the wood, but gets the spare. Fontaine looking for a few more sticks in the strike. He may make this. He's got wood in the back there. Off the wall. Whoa, screamer behind the 7. No go. But what if you made it just have the correct number in the left side? So in Holbrook's, you would actually just write a 12, and you would write whatever it is. Maybe we can leave X as 10 as a little touch there, although even there, obviously, folks coming from mainstream bowling, of course, get confused and think that's a strike as well, and in Canadian notation, you would write a 10. So what if you just had the literal number written on the left side, no matter what it is, and you just did that? It would be a little mainstream concession there, but then it might be more accessible to the average viewer. It's a thought I've had, but I'm not sure if it's perhaps too much heresy. For a tradition we've had for a while now. Keswick with a hammer for Metro Bowl. In a virtual tied string, Hingham had 4 marks in the last pair of boxes, 2 just the one of Metro, so that battle back has been there. And now Zappi, a spread eagle and a 4-fill. Checking in on the splits, it's 48 splits to 32 for Hingham. So it's been evening up a bit on the split count. Freshie and Beaupre in particular have had multiple. 25 bucks for the road, why not? If resources permitted, I would obviously love it to be much more than $25, but that's the scope of it. And obviously, especially since you folks are donating to the station, it's like the BBC. You can't have our game shows giving away too much money, otherwise it'd be a misuse of TV licensing fees, as they would say over there. But with your support, even just by watching, remember folks, just you watching here is really helping us out, and we thank you very much. We want to be responsible with whatever money we have. Compensates our mileage a little bit, but not nearly all the way, especially not in Paul's case, who will go hither and yon to cover bowling absolutely anywhere it exists. Zappi is less than pleased with this parallel pin arrangement here. Keswick spread eagle +1, the fill is 5. Not the biggest fill, but still Metro with the lead. Now a lead as we start off the 7th and 8th boxes. Starts to look great. This one's coming back, though, for Zappi and does not make the 5. Al, a great out on this 3rd ball here for 9, stabilizing the Metro advantage.
I gotta wait till he
And there's a 10 opposite. Zappi contents himself with a 1-pin pickup. Pin loss is pretty comparable. Metro has lost 10 fewer, so that's 10 of their 81 pins is from the pinning alone. And of course, part of that is that Hingham has had to shoot a lot more third balls because the marks haven't been there by a combination of splits and whatever else. That's the problem with splits. You have to shoot more third balls and usually at more pins as well. Freshie washes out the 1-2-7-10 is left. Sam's got the 5 down and the 3-6 to go. Wood's back there. That should be a guide, if anything, or he could just play the pocket clean. Freshie's try. Whoops, and ball didn't count into either corner, nor the pins. 17 pins. 3-6, yes, the Wood drove it right in. Dagostino with the cap, in fact, for his second mark. Hingham needs to be explosive in the late going here. They require 81 pins. So Metro's still with the advantage in this string alone. Zavalato on the head, pin splits for the 5th time this string. At that 147 at the start, and now the pins are just not going to let him even sniff that at the moment. Dagostino has 5 on his fill. His Team Metro Bowl counting down the boxes, looking as though they are likely to advance to this second round. Reseeded high versus low. As soon as I get outcomes from the other matches, I will be sure to let you know. Freshie a 2-pinner, an 8-box, and a 7-box for Dagostino as it brings up the middle bowlers Jones and St. Cyr. 16 boxes to go. We'll keep it live here almost surely, as it looks as though we are the last match that will finish, and thus we will plunge right into the next one as soon as it is ready to go. Obviously, there'll be a bit of a changeover with bowlers. But apart from that, our delay should probably be as little as possible, so definitely we'll be keeping it here. 3-1 split. The only thing, if you're watching on Facebook, I may have to disconnect you briefly because there is a streaming limit, apparently. All right, so a 3-1 split, and you may have heard the rustling of a headset. Paul has an update for us.
Yeah, Millis got crushed by number 1 seed Central 3. 421 for Danny Harris, 421 for Josh Daly. Dallas led their team. And Metro obviously is winning big here. Academy 2, Shooters Pub made a good run that third, but Academy 2 pulled away big time at the end. They won it handily in that match. So Academy 2 won it 3 years ago in the semifinals. And a tight one, it's Matt Buffalo Nichols got a triple strike, and that's a tough one over there on lanes 15 and 16. Let's try to get an update on that score if we can from our view. Nichols at 156.
If you could, please, much appreciated.
Yep,
So,
I'll be right back.
Yep. Viewers know Paul will be live on 19 and 20 in the next stream as well. I'm not sure if he keeps his stream going or if he will disconnect, but either way, you can find him on YouTube. All our streams, just about all our streams, at least that Paul and I do, are on YouTube. Saints here just wide on the single pin here. Jones facing his 4th split of the string. Got it. Nice shot with the wood there to drill both the 4-7 and the 10. Off the wood that is close, and we'll see what the call is here. It is going to be called foul. I was mostly certain on that, but the last thing a commentator wants to do is influence it. Even though, of course, the ICBA rulebook has no direct rules about streaming, there's a very clear admonition that the bowler must make the call fair without influence from anyone else. And thus, I am very wary about making a call that would influence their outcome. That's the last thing a streamer wants to do. Yes, Paul.
We got a major upset brewing. Central 1 with 2 boxes to go, minus Chris Boisvert strike fill. Central 1's up 29 in the match, minus a strike fill. 2 boxes to go. The 7 seed shocking the 2 seed defending champions Exeter Lanes. Who were in the finals last 2 years.
Extraordinary, and I believe 1 through 4 advanced in last year's Friday Night Pro League playoffs, so that would stop there. Metro still favored here, our number 3 seed. You could stay or go. It's up to you.
I'm going to just get the final score for you.
Yes, please. And the single pin, a good one for Winchell to get that spare. He's been shooting great all day long. He'll easily cruise past 360 as Beaupre gets a 9 box.
And Troy Ford just threw a strike to dagger it. And Central 1 with the upset. Central 1, the 7 seed, beats the number 2 seed defending champions Exeter Lanes, eliminated in the first round.
Yeah. They need a guy like Aaron Fontaine, but here he is with Metro Bowl. And, you know, it's a team game, and, of course, Metro Bowl is stacked with talent like that strikeability of Keith Beaupre we see here. But the bowler of the year moving across battle lines as Winchell gets a strike on spare to match has made a big difference in the outcomes of this league. There's Winchell one more time.
And Central was out of it for a while. They were down on the top 8. They've been really bowling well the last month or so, and they have the upset.
So, folks, I was justified in telling you anything could still happen with Hingham here, but as we see now, the chalk shock has come a pair of lanes over.
So the average seed, no bracket, so it will be Central 3 trying to win for the second time in 3 years, third year in a row, trying to get in the finals. They'll be taking on Central 1 in the semifinals. The other one will be Metro Bowl.
Strike Fontaine. So, excuse me, have I gotten this backwards, the reseeding?
It's reseed after each round, no brackets.
It is reseeded.
Yes,
okay,
it is like the NFL playoffs.
I thought I read the rules correctly.
Like the Atlantic Candlepin Singles Tour, same thing. So no brackets, reseeded. So we 1 Central 3, number 7 Central 1, number 4 Academy 2, number 3 Metro. Next 2 semifinals. I'll be on YouTube. Greg will be on YouTube and Facebook.
Correct. Holbrook luckless here. Thought that wood would twirl into the 10. Just didn't go. Maybe needed to rely on the ball deflection and prioritize spinning the wood into the 10, but again, it's also sheer coincidence that I'm curious about his wood shots, and I only say that because I know Holbrook is capable. Anyone who has seen him at any stage in his long and illustrious career knows that. 7 pins down for Fontaine. Holbrook splash hit. Carry a corner. No, it will not. 7-10. And a literal head scratcher here. Fontaine settles for a 9 fill on the strike. Just got wide. Holbrook strike. Across spare. 7-10 with wood. Shows you he still belongs, even if not in the second round this year. One more time. Whirling Dervish takes it. So even Stevens in the string. Hingham, of course, with a couple extra hits, but 64 pins. That's going to require something miraculous on Hingham's side. And we'll keep it live here for the next match as soon as it's done.
I get the scores for you, Greg, from the other match. Central 1 and X when you're ready.
We'll watch these balls here. John Zappi.
Winding up his great career.
Lining up the last 2 boxes in his Friday Night Pro League career, barring a miracle now. Katzig with a 9-pin drop, and Paul with the latest, please.
John Boudreau to 376 to second to Exeter's Dave Barber's 383. Chris Boisvert 357. Jeff Surette 344. Eric Pelletier 333. For the 7th seed, the winner, Central Park Lanes 1, Ed Woodside, The Rock 365. Stephen Bonte 327. Matt Buffalo Nichols triple strike 156 third. The
Nice
dagger.
shot, Zappi. You'll forgive me for interrupting on that,
That's okay,
but a 310
right?
conversion.
Hall of Fame nominee, absolutely. He has the floor. Nichols 397. Tim Antonio Douglas 135, 133, 122 leads the team 390. Trey Ford a big strike, only the 98 finish, but a 142 first. 353 for Troy. Final score 18-22 for Central 1, 17-93 for Exeter Lanes. The defending champs eliminated by 29 pins. The power of the triple strike, the dagger, the difference. for Buffalo, Nichols.
And I remember Matt Nichols having his heart broken at Men's Worlds after he thought a big clutch performance in the 10th box was going to give his Worlds team Central Park Lanes the victory there. And then they had a recount, and that scuttled that dream. But now Matt Nichols coming up big for his team to create the round 1 headline in this Friday Night Pro League competition. Live from Ryan's and Millis. That's Paul Grant speaking alongside me. I'm Greg Gouillart. 2-pinner for Keswick. No pressure, you don't actually have to stay.
Okay, well,
They'll be separated in a moment.
I just told Dave, let's finish John Zappi's career here first. Greg, call it.
Here it is. The last ball for Zappi. Gets his head pin. Of course, you got to go for the aggressive out here. It's 101. It's 322. And it is 2+ decades of brilliance for the career of Mr. President, John Zappi.
2027 Hall of Fame nominee, nominated by Hall of Famers Craig Holbrook and Bob Wickham. So I just told Dave Barber, they are going to redraw for lanes after this match is over. So you don't know what we're going to cover yet. We're going to cover both semifinals. We'll join together for the finals later on. 2-box roll-up, by the way, for overtime, the quarters and semis, and 1-string roll-up in the finals, if need be.
I say this partially to confer with you, but as I understand, you'll be covering 19 and 20, and I'll cover 15 and 16.
Yep.
But a slightly askew angle here. Unless I can move the camera, I don't think I'll be able to. I had the extra long cable, but I think it'll be okay. 9-pin drop 10, strike Dagostino. Nice to see Hingham going out strong. Dagostino made a big difference to the lineup here with his 115 season average. So
they've won multiple titles, Friday Night Pro League, this franchise, the Maria Subs tandem. They were in the finals 3 years ago against Academy 2.
Fully expect they'll be making waves again, especially after they had a really hard start to the season as well. And again, Dagostino came after that, and then correlation or causation, their fortunes turned.
So it's going to be Central 3 against Central 1 in the semifinal. The other semifinal will be Metro, the 3-seed, 4-seed Academy 2.
Wow, East Boston guaranteed in the finals. $10 for Freshie, 91.
Chuck Vizella doesn't mind that. Chucky's house. Great bowl in his day, too.
I'm a pin off on Cephalato score. He should have 90. There's Dagostino, a 2-1 split.
All right, Greg, I'll see you later on, okay?
Sounds good. Paul will get set for his semifinal stream over there. Cephalato, Paul escapes the 6-7. He got away from the vortex of Gen Alpha just in time. Oh, 2-1 split spare. Dagostino on the end. Hingham is making that noise late with 3 marks in the last 4, mind you. Actually can get this, but it'll require a wild sidewall carom. They happen. It's coming, but it doesn't cross the prime meridian. And the 7-pin is all that's there. 6 splits there, and you see how Nick has just loved shooting this string. He's going to just make it into triple digits. Whew. Gets it there. Had 5 perfect boxes despite that. So a 100 that understates his ability. Dagostino loading up. Just 2 for a 111 and a 328. So just shy of the 330 benchmark. Guess that same 12 box that Metro Bowler had just a moment ago. So 12 pins plus a couple extra marks. And the lead is 52, shrinking to 40. It has to be said with 6 boxes remaining, Hingham does not require a double strike to overtake this margin, but they require a lot. The pins will have to stop splitting for them for a 1. Pin setter cycle needed to complete. Now Jones will get set in his 9th on a spare. All 3 remaining Hingham bowlers on a mark. Beaupre on a strike, as per usual. Jones, these sticks will mix. That's done that a few times for him today. And the 9-pin tips as well for 6. 8 pins. St. Cyr in 1 right in the middle there, and that's great news for Metro to make darn sure that they finish the job here. 4 horsemen. Yes, Jones gets it. St. Cyr has found his head pin range recently, but he's missed his 2-pin. Interesting. And there's a 9-box. Making sure I have everyone's score. 107, 189. 1. And yes, everyone's scores are correct. Jones just 5. Splits bare. Fontaine's made a few of those. Can he? St. Cyr on his head pin. Mixing sticks. 5 pins down for a strike. Metro Bowl gets another mark in the 10th. Hingham's been brilliant. Dancing pin here. Oh boy. And Casey McCool's the only one happy about this. If you know, you know. 4, 6, 7, 10. At least the pins are gettable. Actually makes the 2-pinner clean, does Jones. Gets a 119, 362. It's excellent bowling, and it is unlikely to be enough today here in Millis. Metro up by 42 pins. And St. Cyr on a strike. Will not double it, but has at least 7. So if this holds, then Metro will advance and Academy 2 will be their adversary in the semifinals. Count at 8, 107, and a 349. So Jones with that 360. Of course, Aaron Fontaine into the 380s. Still could get 400 if and only if he can get a couple marks, a couple 19 boxes he could do, and still have it. Winchell's on a double strike. That's Hingham's lottery ticket, but gets 6. 1, 7, 8, and 9. Beaupre. He's got his head pin, and wow. Thought he might have a double strike there. Either would have been earth-shattering. Winchell gets rid of the 8-pin here. 2-pinner, Beaupre. Wow, Wood deflects it away. Winchell pinning out well. Hey, 26 in the last 2 boxes there. Beaupre will take 29 and 3 boxes remain with a 53-pin Metro Bowl advantage. 532 to 521. You see Hingham with a great string here, made up some of the gap here. They actually would have, it would have been 4-4 in a regular season match if this result holds, though Beaupre has a triangle here.
I just checked my splitter. My charger didn't charge during that match. I'm down to 50%. This splitter's not working. I tried unplugging it, different things.
Oh, no.
So I'm plugging it right now. Hopefully I have battery juice to cover that semifinal.
Nice shot spare, Winchell.
Good thing I checked that. Power lights are on, everything like that, so I don't know what's going on. Worked last weekend in Maine, no problem.
As long as it's not charging too quickly, say. I'm afraid I'm tethered down here, otherwise I'd probably be of more help. Winchell, a 127. Chance for the 380s now. Very good one at that. Last ball of his string. And the fill is disappointing for the head pin, he'll find, but 5 more, 132, 383. Beaupre at 355. So congratulations almost surely to Metro Bowl, who require 12 pins, 13 pins technically in the next 2 boxes to seal the deal. Actually, technically, Holbrook could strike out, and then it would be 1773. Running strikes, please, Craig. Not to be. 6 more on the spare. Fontaine on a 400 chase wants that pin to fall. He'll have to help himself. Holbrook's made some good shots already. Will not get this one. And the single pin's good for Aaron. Aaron Fontaine's soon to be married. Greg Holbrook, the 10 box. Hello, Kalen, if you're watching. Greg into the head pin, diamond right side, and make that a triangle. Fontaine for the 400, mayhaps. And it's 8 more. He requires a spare strike here. Holbrook will not get it. Fontaine treacherous wood to even get the spare. Right side, and it will not go. Had he played the left side, it's likely the ball would have deflected, and he'll come up just short. Holbrook a 10 for 334. Fontaine a 10 for 390. And there you go. That is the ball game. Full scores here. 573 to 559. 14-pin victory for Hingham in the string, but Team Metro, a 50-pin victory. Just looking up to see, and yes, that is official, a 50-pin victory for Team Metro Bowl, who will advance. So the only one that did not go to chalk was Central 1 over Exeter, who will be present and accounted for against Central 3. Metro Bowl versus Academy 2 in the semifinals. Lanes will be drawn at random. We do not know yet which match will be which, but Paul and I will have them both in some form. And if you will excuse me, I am now going to take an audio timeout while I sort that out on my side. And as soon as that match is ready to begin, we'll be right back. We're keeping it live here on my stream, and Paul's stream will click on live on YouTube when he's ready here on Candlepin Bowling Network. Please ask in chat if I went too quickly on that, but see you here, Candlepin Bowling Network YouTube. We'll be back in a few minutes.